long. That's longer than Ellen Road. Not the pitch, the stadium. Anyway, UEFA wanted a standard across Europe for international matches, which became 105 metres long and 68 metres wide. But some clubs have been rebels, not intentionally, but because of the stadiums. Take Highbury, for example. It was 5 metres shorter and a metre narrower, meaning away sides had a challenge to adjust. White Hart Lane was exactly the same. And actually, when Spurs temporarily moved to Wembley, they asked the FA to shorten the pitch. The FA, very offended by the sacrilegious suggestion, said no, which in fairness could have actually benefited Tottenham because when they moved into their shiny new stadium, the pitch was exactly the same size as Wembley's. Today, Forest pitch at the City Ground is a big one. It's 2 metres wider than any other pitch in the Premier League. But the smallest of all, Craven Cottage, just 100 metres long and 65 wide. No excuse for not tracking your man. There are a couple of crazy outliers in Europe too. At Napoli's home ground, the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, the pitch is a whopping 110 metres long. At least they don't play on a slope like Newcastle do. There's a 2-metre incline on the pitch at St James's Park. And don't get me started on the old pitch at Yeovil too. It used to be a slant of 2 metres corner to corner and across the halfway line. So UEFA have their standards, so do the FA, but they do give pitches in England some wiggle room. Pitches can be anywhere between 90 and 120 metres long and between 45 and 90 metres wide. I mean, the rules state you can't have a square pitch, but in theory you could have one that's 91 metres long and 90 wide. Imagine rocking up to play a Sunday League game and the pitch is basically a square. So there are rules and regulations on sizes, with a UEFA standard that roughly everyone follows, but as we all know, size doesn't matter, does it?
Good morning. It is Monday, December the 15th, 3 minutes past 6 o'clock. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Donald Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. I'm Jeff Stelling, and it's a very good morning alongside me, Alistair McCoist. Morning, Coisty. How you doing?
Jeff, I'm in top form. Absolutely top form. How about you? How's your weekend?
Yeah, it was okay.
Yes.
I mean, it was okay.
Just okay.
A lot of football. Well, my football team, we've had some big humiliations in inglorious history, suffered probably the biggest of all when we lost in the FA Trophy at home to a team called Ansty Nomads, who play in the Northern Premier League Midland Division against sides like Loughborough Students, and Anstey's a town of about 7,000 people. And not only did they beat us, that they deserved to beat us.
Is that right?
So we lost 2-1 at home in the FA Trophy. So that was a bit of a downer, you know.
Kind of puts a dampener on proceedings.
It does a bit, you know. But apart from that, it was great. I mean, you very much enjoyed it. I mean, I'll tell you what. You know, Bill Markley, the taxi driver, he gets the first text of the day because he said, "Morning, Jeff and Ali. What a beautiful morning it is. All quiet in the East End of Glasgow, but a massive party in Paisley."
Well, let me tell you something. What a result. But do you know, Jeff, do you know something? You'll know what I mean here. It's not that big a shock. It's not. I don't care what anybody says. It's not that big a shock for a couple of reasons. Right, so Mirren are a good team, and Rangers and Celtic at this moment in time are nowhere near the standard that they used to be or should be. So, I mean, I'm local to Paisley, and I was travelling to the airport last night, and you go through Paisley. The place was absolutely electric. I mean, the town hall and everything. It was just brilliant for them. Yeah, absolutely fantastic and thoroughly deserved.
I mean, all the talk will be about Celtic and Wilfred Nancy.
Correct.
But Stevie Robinson.
What a job Stevie Robinson's done.
3 top 6 finishes.
It's unbelievable. Like you think about it, right? The way I look at it, with teams like Mirren and boys like Stevie Robinson, I beg your pardon. You've got Rangers, Celtic, Hibs, Hearts and Aberdeen should be in the top 5. That should be a top 5.
Yeah.
So eventually, you think about it, I think you've got Kilmarnock, you sit Mirren, Motherwell, teams like that, fighting for that 6th position. Stevie Robinson and St Mirren have done so well.
Yeah.
They've done so well.
Brilliant.
And see my wee local that I go to on a Friday night, we go into the Fox for a couple of pints on a Friday. That's all the St Mirren boys are in there. And I can only imagine. Do you know something? I nearly went in the way to the airport, right? And I thought to myself, I'll never make it.
You'll never get out.
I'll never get out.
Never get out.
I'm chuffed to bits from. We'll talk about the demise of Celtic and Rangers probably later on in the show, but right now it's got to be massive congratulations to the buddies, the Paisley buddies.
Amazing, but as you say, no shock with the form that Celtic are in at the moment. Look, if you're a St Mirren or a Celtic or an Anstey Nomads fan, give us a call. 03717 223344 this morning. We want to hear from you. If you're an Anstey Nomads fan, the chances are you won't get through. But it was another massive weekend in the Premier League, and of course talkSPORT was across it all.
It's Liverpool who've scored. Bitugo Ekitike with a header at the back post. It's a beautiful delivery by Mo Salah, whose stint on the bench lasts less than half an hour.
Chelsea picking up their first win in 5 games.
A ball into Wilson and a shot that's found the bottom left corner.
Wolves will be bottom at Christmas and are certain for the drop, but Arsenal, well, maybe, just maybe, they're playing in a different league.
West Ham United 1, Aston Villa 0. Mateus Fernandes has struck on 29 seconds. It's the quickest Premier League goal anywhere this season.
Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 3. Erling Haaland at the double to down the Eagles and pick up an important win.
What an outstanding goal from Ibrahim Sangare. It's Nottingham Forest 3, Spurs 0.
Listen to that roar. The City of Sunderland will be bouncing tonight. It's finished at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 1, Newcastle 0.
Rodgers with his second of the game. This team keeps on rolling. It's West Ham 2, Aston Villa 3.
What a terrific goal this is. Brentford 1, Leeds United 1. Dominic Calvert-Lewin for the 4th game in a row.
Yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Well, we'll discuss him a bit later on as well. Daniel Farker suggesting that maybe he's back in the England reckoning. Look, I like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but I think that's getting a little carried away. Just a little carried away.
There'll be 1 or 2 ahead of him at this moment in time. I've got to be brutal honest, and I know you'll be the same opinion. Great to see him back, because his talent's never been doubted. Never been doubted. Just want to keep him fit, got a run of games, always felt he goals in him. I'm really delighted for him.
I am too. I was just wondering what Evertonians are thinking now.
Oh, I know.
Because they're desperate for a striker who can stick the ball in the back of the net. But look, I mean, big weekend, all the big boys won. Arsenal, just about, Man City, Villa, Chelsea. But look, let's just talk first of all about the Tyne-Wear derby. And by the way, it's the Tyne-Wear derby. Don't tell me it's the Weir Tyne derby. It's the Tyne-Wear derby, just like it's the Tyne Tees derby, just like it's Tyne Tees television. And that's no disrespect to anybody in Sunderland. They were
brilliant.
Brilliant. I mean, they're sort of chiseled out of rock, the way they defend, the way they put their bodies on the line. But they do have, some. There was a little moment at the end. Enzo Lefebvre, skill was absolutely priceless. So, brilliant day to be a Sunderland fan.
First thing I'd say, Jeff, I got, when was it? I got terrible news on a Saturday about Gary Rowell.
Oh, yeah.
I played with Gary when I was a kid, went down to Sunderland, and I'm going to tell you, Jeff, he was just a lovely man. Lovely man that could finish, by the way. I'll tell you right now, I think still today the last Sunderland player to score a hat-trick at Newcastle when they beat, I think, 1-4-1. But that aside, I mean, he obviously was a very talented footballer and a lovely finisher. But I was so upset when I heard the news he had passed away, and I was on the phone to a few of my ex-Sunderland teammates, Cookie and Hackers and boys like that, and he was very unwell seemingly when I wasn't aware of it at all. So I get that news, or we all get that news, I beg your pardon. It was really, really, really sad and gutted, and I was really pleased to see the show of respect for. I didn't expect anything else, but the show of respect for him before the game was lovely. And then the game itself, man, dear me, it did him proud, didn't it? I mean, the atmosphere. I was down. I did the cup game, Jeff, when Newcastle was a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Newcastle were too good and too strong. But I had a wee feeling that would not be the case yesterday, and it wasn't. I mean, there wasn't a lot of goalmouth action as such, but I just loved. I mean, it was a proper derby.
Yeah, it was ferocious.
It was absolutely non-stop. They were at each other right from the start. It looked to me as if Sunderland were up for it just that little bit more, and I thought they got their just rewards. But in terms of a football derby, man, it was just brilliant. I mean, the passion, the commitment, the tenacity, and people closing people down and getting rid of ball. I just thought I really enjoyed. I've not enjoyed the game like it in a long time. It was great.
It was a fantastic contest.
Yes.
Rather than,
I wouldn't say it was a fantastic game.
No, it wasn't.
Right,
but Sunderland didn't miss a trick, did they? Right from the scoreboard, which was Sunderland against visitors. And it's in red and white, which it isn't usually. I mean, they used every trick in the book. And by the way, thoroughly deserved it.
Oh, they did. They absolutely did. I felt for the big fella to go right in a Voltamada. Dear me.
Oh my goodness.
He's just his position's wrong. He could do another half yard anyway. It just comes off him and then it goes. But no, I think you're in agreement. Well, I'm certainly in agreement with you. I think Sunderland went about it and deserved the victory, man. The tenacity they way about the game. I mean, just closing people down. I've seen them live a couple of times this season. I've obviously seen them on television 3 or 4 times. God, what a transformation. I mean, I can't remember seeing, was it back to Sheffield United they came up under Chris Wilder and had a great year and run about 7th, 8th, 9th.
Yeah.
But in terms of newly promoted sides, God, they've certainly been a pick of the bunch in recent seasons.
They've been brilliant. Quick question. England's number 10. I know you don't care about it.
Well, I do actually. I enjoy it. I do.
How on earth does Jude Bellingham get Morgan Rogers out of that position? I thought Morgan Rogers against West Ham was out of this world.
You're going to have to kidnap him. That's very good, Jeff. I really mean it.
Yeah. And by the way, Cole Palmer comes into the equation.
Oh, what an embarrassment of riches. But the one thing about Thomas Tuchel, he'll not try and fit them all in. You know what I mean? I do not think for a minute, Jeff, that he's a square peg and round hole man at all. I think if he sees their position as a number 10, the 3 of them, for example, he'll play one. You know, he'll not go, maybe I'll try and squeeze Palmer in the left or Bellingham back. And I genuinely believe right now his 2 in front would be Anderson and Rice. And then we're starting flicking coins up. Kane will start. And then I think Saka will start. And then so you're only left with 2.
No, we're 6 months, more than 6 months.
And by the way, Anthony Gordon would come into the equation.
Yeah, although he's really struggling for form at the moment, isn't he?
But he'll come into the equation.
For me, 6 months away, so everything can change. So
of course it can.
Morgan Rogers is the man in possession at the moment.
I think so.
And the way he's playing, I do not see that you could possibly leave him out. But
not if the game was tomorrow.
If the game was tomorrow, we are over 6 months away.
Yes.
A lot of things can change.
They struggled, Jeff, when I saw them on Wednesday. Real Madrid, you know.
Yeah.
They were a big.
They are having us. There's no doubt about it.
They were toiling.
Yeah, and by the way, what about Villa? Done it the hard way again. Really? Last 3 away games in the Premier League now, they've fallen behind in all 3 of them, and they've won a lot. Tells you something about the team. Doesn't it? We'll talk about them during the course of the day and everything else as well. Coming up, we turn our attention to the back pages, and there's a lot of love for Sunderland, as you can imagine this morning. is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me, and I wonder how many younger Crystal Palace fans have sung that without having a clue who actually sung the original version, that one. Do you know, Coisty?
Is it Dave Clark 5?
Is the Dave Clark 5. And Dave Clark, the founder of the Dave Clark 5, it's his birthday today. It's a happy birthday, Dave. He was the drummer, which was unheard of at the time.
Yeah.
The Dave Clark 5, but he wasn't the lead vocalist or anything like that. He was the drummer.
Can we name many more? Can't be too many more. Phil Collins.
Who's drummer? Yeah.
It wasn't the original singer of Genesis.
He wasn't the main man originally, was
Peter
he?
Gabriel.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dave Clark were bigger. He's a Tottenham boy as well, so I'm not quite sure how it's the Palace anthem. By the way, it works brilliantly for them, doesn't it? Absolutely love it. Just some breaking news for you in regards to the Ashes. The only change for England's no surprise. Josh Tongue is in the starting lineup. Gus Atkinson drops out in Adelaide. Starts on Wednesday. I think I'm correct in saying. Could finish on Thursday.
Oh, no.
Well, it could, couldn't it? You know, let's be brutally realistic about it. Pat Cummins is back. Nathan Lyon's back. Oh, God help us.
Signs are ominous. It's not been great so far.
Yeah, it's not been great. That is the understatement of the morning. I know it's only 6:21, but by 10 o'clock it'll still be the understatement of the morning.
Again and again later on.
Now let's take a look at the back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business.
Backpage review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Are you a freelancer? Get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. For terms and verification, visit tescomobile.com/business.
And Olivia Bazaglow's back with us. Morning, Olivia.
Olivia, morning.
Morning, how are you both?
Excellent.
Pretty
How are
good,
you?
really,
You good?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
How's your weekend?
It was lovely, thank you. I was just saying, I got a Thai massage for the first time. You know when they actually climb on the bed?
Oh, I love it.
And oh my gosh, it was so good.
I love it.
I don't exercise very often, and when I do, my muscles ache. So I
Right.
thought I'd go and treat myself to a Thai massage. It was great.
Yeah, I go to a place in Glasgow, I swear to God, and they're all over you. There's nothing worse if you're going for a massage and you get a skin polish, right?
You do.
I'm not interested in a skin polish, but this
Get in there.
Oh, a wee girl's in with the elbows, man. And the
Yeah.
knees, and she's walking on it, so it's agony, man. But it's great.
It's good agony, isn't it?
Oh,
It's
it's good agony.
It's like a nice pain.
Oh, yeah. Is it what do you call it? It'd be a masochistic type of thing.
Yeah, a very nice pain. What Newcastle suffered yesterday was not a nice pain. That was a very horrific pain, and that is what is dominating the back pages. On the back page of the Mail, where we go. Sunderland revel in Derby winners. Howe says sorry for Toon flops. I'm not sure about this one. Back page of the Sun. Walt Disney. I don't know if there's anything funny or comical about Disney, but I didn't quite get it. But anyway, obviously Nick Voltemada's. I feel a bit sorry for Nick Voltemada. I'm not quite sure what he was doing for the own goal.
No, I just said to Jeff, I said the exact same thing. I feel for him, but he's got his body in the wrong kind of position. And it can happen, I suppose, can't it?
Yeah, it can. Back page of the Express, we are just so sorry, says How. And again, on the back page of the Star, well, how, HOWE, bad was that. So yeah, not ideal. From Newcastle, a bit meh, I thought their performance was.
You're right. But, with great respect, we should be talking about Sunderland this
And
morning.
how good they were, yeah.
Because it was, the atmosphere was fantastic. The whole place was jumping. And they deserved the victory.
Yeah, they did. A quick story on the back page of the Times. Brendan McCullum saying we'll stick with the batters. Obviously, Jeff just said only one change. There was calls for Ollie Pope to maybe be replaced by Jacob Bethel, but that hasn't happened. Of course, the third Ashes test.
I'm not sure Jacob Bethel can remember what a cricket bat looks like.
Yeah, me.
Because it's the system, isn't it, where... if you're one of the elites, you don't play in county championship games.
Yeah,
You don't put a bat in your hand, and boy, is it showing.
It's just the same old mistakes, though, Jeff.
I know.
The same mistakes. They're going out the same way.
Yeah. Well, Brendan McCullum, he should be looking at himself because his position's got to be massively in doubt if things continue to go the way they're going at the moment.
And we will find out very shortly, won't we? Of course, on the back pages as well. I'm a little bit disappointed. There is one name on the back pages. Erling Haaland, sky's the limit on the back page of the Express, and Hall of Fame on the back page of the Star. But guys, where's Morgan Rogers on the back pages here?
Yeah, I know.
He's been
Because
brilliant.
unbelievable. Again, a brace yesterday, the winning goal, and it does feel like at the moment that it's a three-way title race.
Yeah, but
At the moment.
Yeah, but I think I agree. But I think Jeff, and there's no way the MD's ignoring Morgan Rogers, but I think Haaland, because of the goals at the moment in time, that's the reason he's...
It's goals. I mean, when you look at them, you know, if you look at Arsenal, you look at Manchester City, you cannot help but compare and contrast Victor Gyökeres, I know it's unfair, Victor Gyökeres and Erling Haaland, you know, and it's a complete mismatch, and
Agreed.
Consequently, that could be the deciding factor in the title race. Probably will be in the end.
I think that as well. There's a lot of people, you know, I wouldn't say changing their tune, but maybe leaning towards Manchester City now, and I understand it totally. I just think that was a vital goal for Arsenal. Dear me. That was a vital goal for them, just for the whole thing, the whole confidence, obviously the points.
Yeah. On one hand, it was like, you know, Arsenal can't go on and win the league if they need 2 own goals to beat Wolves. But on the other hand, they will admit themselves that they were well below par. They were awful in that game, but they've still come out and won it. So is that a sign of champions? I suppose it's a...
Time will tell, but I just think it was a very important game for them to win. Yeah. You got to I felt for Robert. I mean, the interview he put in after it, you could see he was absolutely gutted.
Yeah.
And they just can't get a break at this moment in time anyway.
Yeah, no, completely agree. And I get the argument about, well, they played badly and they won, but would they have won against anybody else but the worst team in the Premier League? I very much doubt it.
Not.
Here's one I just want to throw out to you, because you're talking about Morgan Rogers and Villa. That's great. Jamie Carragher said this week, it's a lot of things actually, but this is the one I found most interesting, Cara. He says, only Pep in the Premier League is better than Unai Emery.
I've been saying this for a while, but a lot of people are Arteta and Unai Emery. I think that's the debate a lot of people are having. But I think it's really hard to argue against the job that Unai Emery's done at Villa.
I don't think MD can.
No.
I think it's impossible to argue against the job he's done.
And by the way, he's great entertainment value on the touchline, isn't he? He is fantastic. He must come off knackered after every game.
Passionate, isn't he?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't disagree with that statement. I'm a massive fan of Unai Emery. Met him I met him a couple of times up during the European games last season, I think it was, Jeff. And he sits with his coaches and he's good. You know, he's just really, really good at what he does.
Olivia, I hope you've had a better 48 hours than Enzo Maresca. We might discuss that a bit later on.
We will, don't worry, we will, yeah.
Thank you very much indeed. That was a look at today's back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business. Coming up, we ask the question, do Spurs fans expect too much from Thomas Frank? We'll discuss that next.
Backpage review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Are you a freelancer? Get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. For terms and verification, visit tescomobile.com/business.
some of the best off-camera anecdotes from recent years at the Ryder Cup. As caddy Billy Foster went to relieve himself at the Belfry, he noticed only one of the 2 cubicles had toilet paper. Shortly after he'd sat down, Tiger Woods went into the empty cubicle and realised his mistake all too late. So Foster took some paper, reached under the cubicle with a rescue offering, and as Tiger went to take it, Foster uttered the words, "Europe, one up." Fast forward 10 years to the miraculous Medina. Rory McIlroy overslept and was in danger of missing his Sunday tea time. Thankfully, travel organiser Erica Stoll sorted him a police escort, and 3 years later, McIlroy proposed. Scottish legend Sam Torrance tells many a yarn about the great Ballesteros. Apparently, Seve would regularly give coaching clinics to his European teammates. When the same players asked for help a week later at the Italian Open, Seve would tell them to Having started with a Billy Foster story, let's finish with one from the 12th tee at Oakland Hills in 2004. It was Jimenez and Garcia against Westwood and Clark in a practice round, and as they finished, Foster decided to jump in the buggy and speed away with all their clubs, only to lose control entirely and see it careering towards the spectators. Thankfully, the Red Sea parted and the buggy smashed into a tree, with viewers and clubs still intact.
Good morning, 6:33. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with the Arnold Clark app. Everything for your car, all in one place. Download it today. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist. It is with me. We're here through until 10. Now, Sunday afternoon saw another big step back from Tottenham.
It's finished Forest 3, Spurs 0. Forest continuing their momentum under Sean Dyche, just 6th win in 8 in all competitions. A goal in each half from Callum Hudson-Odoi set them on their way. Sangare walloped in Forest third with 12 to play, a beauty from 20 yards, but a desperately poor performance for Spurs. Just 3 wins in 11 in all competitions, who remain in the bottom half of the table. Forest 3, Tottenham 0.
Desperate result as far as Spurs are concerned. They're doing okay in the Champions League, just okay really, but continue to stutter domestically after an initial strong start to the season. And of course, this is all under another new manager in Thomas Frank. So, Coisty, I think it's fair to say Thomas Frank has not won the fans over, or the majority of them yet. No. They finished 17th last season. Are the fans' expectations too high? Are they unrealistic?
No, I don't think they are, actually, to tell you the truth, Jeff. Well, it depends what they are collectively. But where I see Tottenham, I think Tottenham should be certainly top 6, challenging top 4, good cup run. That's where I am with Tottenham. I don't think that, I don't think they're anywhere near challenging for the title, like City and indeed Arsenal. I think they're well short of that. I thought they completely let themselves down in the league last year, but managed to win a European trophy. I just think I actually don't think their fans are unrealistic to expect that. I mean, surely we should be talking about Tottenham, certainly top 6, challenging top 4, not winning the title. No, they've not got a squad to do that. But the problems they must go so much deeper, Jeff, because they have had, Thomas Frank included, some great coaches. They've had some excellent coaches over the period. Well, you go back to Mourinho, Conte, Nunes, Poch, fantastic coaches that cannot really solve the problem. The players have got to take responsibility, I think, Jeff. But looking at the squad of players, as I say, I don't think it's a squad of players that can compete for the league, but as a squad of players, I think that should be doing miles better than they're doing.
I mean, Thomas Frank said afterwards, he said, look, that was a very bad performance. He says he does everything he can to control his emotions, but there's a hurricane inside. I almost wonder sometimes if he appears to be too controlled, too calm, whether what they need is a right rollicking. Maybe they get that in the dressing room. I don't know.
I know. And I don't know. I just think you hear that many stories nowadays they can't handle a right rollicking. And you hear nowadays the coaches, the managers don't talk to players kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Like perhaps Big Jock Wallace or Graham Souness would talk to us, you know what I mean? So I'm not. That's just the way it was then, and maybe the way it is now.
But you have to wonder, don't you, about the relationship of some of those players with the manager. We saw it again at the weekend. Yeah. Jed Spence, substitute, who throws his arms in the air. And we'd seen that previously with Van der Ven and Spence again when they refused to go to the fans and ignored Thomas Frank. I hate asking the question, but it does raise that question about what the players think of the coach.
But do you know something, Jeff? This is my point. It shouldn't matter what the players think of the coach to a certain degree. They've got a responsibility. There's nothing worse than the line in football for me. Oh, he's lost the players.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
I mean, what a lot of nonsense that is. It's absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Because the players have got a responsibility to themselves, their family, and the club, and the fans to go and do a job to the best of their ability every week, whether they fancy the coach or not.
Yeah.
I hate that term. I really think it's I think it's a cop-out. It's a ridiculous statement.
And in this case, it's not a criticism of the coach. It's a criticism of the attitude
Correct.
of some of those players.
And you're right to question it. Do you know something? We all got upset when we were taken off. Of course we do. I never got more upset than myself. But there's a way to handle it. And it very importantly, does send out a message. It sends out a message of a lack of togetherness and a lack of respect, I think. And it's wrong. It's wrong.
Sometimes, look, managers have got to make difficult decisions, and fans won't necessarily appreciate them. But you have to ask the question again. They are losing 2-0 at Nottingham Forest after an hour, and Thomas Frank chooses to bring on Ben Davies, Paulinho and Bergvall.
Yeah.
Okay? In place of Spence, Bentancur and Grace. So totally like for like.
Yes.
He's got Matthias Tell, and Brendan Johnson on the bench and Odebert, and none of them come on. None of the attacking players come on when you're 2-0 down away from home. So you can understand Spurs fans' frustrations to a degree, can't you?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. I mean, it's a football fan's, it's his divine right to question what's happening within their club. Of course it is. And you're probably very seldom you get two opinions exactly the same, because fans have, different, favourites, for example. But I do understand the frustration. The one thing I would say, and it's not a cop-out, and it's not an excuse, but I think it is a legitimate reason to mention and bring in again their injuries and missing players in forward areas. Right, I really, we speak about the two boys at the back, how important they are, Romero and Van de Ven, but at the same time, they really suffered in forward areas, and I think it showed, and I think it's showing, because They definitely do not have anything like for like. When you're playing with Charleston again through the middle, Kolomiani's I think he's been a disappointment. When you're missing guys like Kulusevski, Madison, and the big centre forward, Frankie. So, Jeff, that has to be a reason. It's not an excuse, but I think it's a legitimate reason you could point out to that. But I definitely take a point. I mean, you've got to try something different. If you're looking for a goal, changing the midfield might strengthen certainly an area of the pitch. But with greatest respect, the boys that you brought on, Bergwall aside, aren't really creative as such.
No, I mean, it's a massive issue, and they've got issues at the other end of the pitch as well, because Vicario's clearly lacking confidence at the moment. And the first goal, frankly, I put down totally to him.
Yeah, I think Archie Gay's got...
Archie Gray shows, but Vicario can see the picture.
Yeah. Well, as soon as he plays that ball in, Jeff, he's got to scream at Archie Gray first time.
Yeah.
Right? Archie Gray can't take a touch. It's as simple as that.
He cannot give it to Archie Gray. No, I don't care whether Archie Gray shows. He cannot give it.
Well, I would disagree to a certain degree, right? Because I think if he gives him a good enough ball, Archie Gray can play it first time. Listen, the goalkeeper should not be giving him it, right? I take your point. But if he gives him it and he plays it first time, he can get out it. The problem is, A, he shouldn't get it, and B, he takes a touch. As soon as he takes a touch, Sangari, I think, is all over him, who does exceptionally well, and then touches it for a tap in. But you're right. It's got to go long. It has to go long. Spurs, more than anybody at this moment in time, cannot be losing goals like that.
No. And also Callum Hudson-Odoi, cross, shot, whatever, the goalkeeper can't be beaten by that. But look, 22 points from 16 games. It's their lowest total at that stage in 17 seasons when Wandy Ramos was in charge. He was sacked in October. So Thomas Frank was asked after the Forest thumping whether he will get the time required to...
Decision making from him is changing.
I can't see why not. I think it's pretty evident that if no one gets the time, no one can turn this around. This is not a quick fix.
Not a quick fix. But he is clearly under pressure.
It's got to be.
At the moment, he's got to be.
The results are really poor and are not being anywhere near good enough. But then the flip side of the coin, Jeff. I mean, are they going to change? What's the point? I'll tell you what, let's get somebody else in.
Who would want this job?
Yeah.
I know Spurs fans won't like me saying that, Who would want this job? Mourinho, Pochettino, Conte,
Correct.
Ange,
Correct.
Thomas Frank. Is this an impossible club to manage?
Well, from where I'm sitting right now, it looks an extremely difficult club to manage, right? And let's get back, because we can say what we like, but Big Ange won a European trophy. Right, league position, miles not good enough, right? But he won a bit of silverware. But you make a very valid point. You're looking at that Spurs team and the Spurs squad just now. Do you know what they are? They're unreliable. That's what they are. You can't trust them, Jeff. You can't trust that group of players to go and show any level of consistency at this moment in time. Now, the manager will get the blame for it, because that's what happens in football, right? Rightly or wrongly, probably rightly, because he's a head honcho. But the fact of the matter is, are we going to sit here and seriously say that the 5-6 managers that you've just mentioned haven't got enough quality to turn that team around? You would think they would. You think one of them would maybe be lucky or something, because they've all got quality. The managers all got extreme quality. So it must run deeper.
Yeah.
It must run deeper. But sorry, Jeff, but see what you said there about players, throwing hands up in the air. That just kind of looks synonymous with Tottenham to me. They don't. The complete opposite. They were beaten by a side right now, well beaten by a side who probably put in, speaking to people that were at the game, probably put in one of their best performances in a long, long time. But what's the one thing you look at Forest right now under Sean Dyche? The one thing is they look together, right? They're not going to win every game, but they look as though they know what they're doing, and the squad and the players are together. Tottenham don't look that way to me.
No, concur. Liverpool at home, Palace away, and then Brentford, Thomas Frank's former club, away from home on New Year's Day. What is the minimum that Tottenham fans and the club will expect from Thomas Frank this season? Where can he afford to finish?
Top 10. I can't believe I'm saying it. Right, but top 10, and then there's pressure on. Pressure really kicks on for the start of the season. I mean, and they're doing okay, Champions League, they're doing okay there. And, I still think they're one of these sides, I mentioned it again, what's their best chance of success? Clearly a cup run, whether it's an FA Cup or something else, League Cup or whatever it may be, but the cup run would be their best option because they've not got anything like the level of consistency. So I find it's a bizarre thing to say, the Tottenham fans, well, what's he talking about finishing top 10? But from where they were last season, I don't think that's an unrealistic opinion to have at this moment in time.
No. Tough times for Thomas Frank and for Tottenham. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
My gut feeling is this is too big a job. It's been a disaster so far. The head of recruitment falling asleep in the director's box. Out comes the checkerboard, red, white and blue. You're like, what the... Did someone not tell them what Celtic's all about here?
Alan Brazillo on Wilfred Nancy there, and that was before they lost to St Mirren in the Scottish League Cup final. Celtic fans, phone lines are open, 03717 2233 44. Is Wilfred Nancy, after 3 games, already under pressure to hold on to his job at Parkhead? Martin O'Neill is on from 10 a.m. this morning on talkSPORT. Are you longing for the return of Martin O'Neill already? You can't have him. Okay, you can't have him. He's on White and Jordan this morning. We'll be discussing Celtic in depth a little later. That was our look ahead, all thanks to the brilliant Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
Step up to the hockey and win the ultimate VIP darts experience on talkSPORT.
Yeah, good morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist. PDC World Darts Championship well underway, of course. The opening 4 days, good wins for Luke Littler and Michael Smith. Rob Cross, bit of a scare for Stephen Bunting yesterday, sneaked through to the next round. So if darts is your thing, have a listen to this. talkSPORT and Pitch Experiences could be sending you there on December the 23rd.
Absolutely, Jeff. The countdown's on. Get your entry in by Thursday and your 3 mates could be living at large with platinum seats, fine dining, an open bar and VIP access to the 501 lounge with Russ, the voice Bray. Then it's straight to your Prime Arena table for the best view in the house.
Here's how to enter. Text DARTS to 83338. 83338. Text costs £2 plus your standard network rate, or you can call 0343 4217 508. Lines close 4 o'clock this Thursday afternoon. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. So for your chance to win, text DARTS to 83338 right now. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Good luck to you.
There was a nice wee story actually in the darts. Was it Paul Lim?
Now we're going to talk to him later.
Oh, is he coming on?
Yeah. Oldest player ever to win a match.
Isn't that brilliant?
Brilliant.
Let's hope for us yet.
Just before we move on, a quick text. This is a light the blue touch paper and retreat to a safe distance text, I think, from Ben, who's a Tranmere fan. He says, as a neutral, I like Spurs, but how many times is Jamie O'Hara going to spout, yes, I know we lost 3-0 to Bucky Thistle, but we're a massive club. The massive club debate is as pointless as the chips and gravy debate. Well, Ben, more pointless in my view. Anyway, look, let's move away from the Premier League for a moment or two. It was a huge weekend in the EFL. Time for a bit of this.
How can you not love the EFL when it throws up moments like this?
Here's Hawk! Oh, it's come back to Zamora!
It's kick off again! City fans can't believe it. What a match!
Windass! Quite simply destined to be from Team Windass.
We're in London. Hey, we're in London, aren't we?
Leeds can beat you 4-1. They're a fantastic team. But we had someone in the bushes that day twice this season now.
No sirve para nada.
I didn't know I would have such a reaction.
That ghost didn't head one in on Saturday. We didn't defend properly, you great chicken nugget.
We hear that Jimmy Glass, the goalkeeper, has scored for Carlisle.
You just never know which twist any game is going to turn next.
Must I forever be?
Time for a quick look at the EFL action at the weekend. By the way, Coisty, did you see the Fatawu go for Leicester?
Oh, watch a goal.
He was outside the stadium, wasn't he, when he shot?
I've never believe it. Yeah. I mean, he was at least 10 yards in his own. Brilliant, wasn't it?
Oh, incredible. I mean, it was. We've seen some great goals this season, and that's right up there with the best of them. There's another one for Coventry, but the one that caught my eye again is Middlesbrough, you know. 4 out of 4 under Kim Hellberg, their new coach, who replaced Rob Edwards. 3-1 winners over QPR. Yeah. Nice gap developing.
Top two.
The top two and the rest. And
that said, Preston again.
Oh, another
brilliant
great
result. Yeah. But you're right, it looks as though you wouldn't want to be giving them any more space, the top two, Coventry and Borough.
It's got me wondering, next season, Premier League, Newcastle, Sunderland and Middlesbrough.
I'd love that, Jeff. I mean,
wow.
I'm the same as you. I just love the teams in the North East. I love the North East people, to tell you the truth, and get the three of them in there. I mean, I couldn't tell you. You might be able to tell me the last time the three of them in the top flight.
No, I couldn't tell you.
Dear me. Here's an interesting one. I know the sore one at home, Hull at the weekend. Millwall, going really well, sitting fourth. Do you know they've got a minus goal difference? And they're sitting fourth.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah. They've got a massive injury crisis at the moment down there as well, and it's not helping.
But would you stick...
Azaz was sent off, you know.
Yeah. Would you stick your neck out just now and say the top two will continue?
Yeah, I think I would.
So would I.
I think I would, because every time you see a side from behind beginning to put a run together, like Ipswich, they throw in a performance like they did at Leicester. At the weekend, Sheffield United, I thought, were coming from the depths, and then they throw in one against West Brom on Friday night. So, I think there's a good chance at this stage.
I couldn't disagree. Disagree.
Down in League One, by the way, what about Cardiff? What a response. I mean, they beat Doncaster Rovers 4-3. Yeah.
Did you see the atmosphere?
Look, they left it late, 99th minute winner. But that's the way to react. They've lost 2 league games. We talked to Brian Barry Murphy a couple of months ago. They lost 2 league games. I mean, they bounced back from that by winning 5 in a row. And listen to this. Their starting lineup, right, included players who were 18, 20, 21, 22, 22, 23, 24 and 24.
Brilliant.
I mean, sensational.
But then you looked at that, and I watched the highlights, I watched the goals. I mean, there's nothing like a late goal, and there's nothing much later than a 99th minute goal. But completely opposite what we're talking about there. You talk about togetherness. Boy, did they look together there.
Oh, fantastic.
You know what I mean? And I keep saying it, Jeff. Of course it doesn't guarantee success. There's no way it guarantees, but it doesn't have help.
Yeah. We haven't got too long. I just want to mention Reyes Cleary, my mate. He's at Barnsley these days. I was with some Barnsley fans on Friday. What a game he had at the weekend. He scored a goal. It was a fantastic goal as well. He hit the post. Assists for the 2 other Barnsley goals, and they were proper assists, by the way, as well, laying it on a plate. Barnsley beat Orient 3-2, and I think he'll play at a higher level than League One. I mean, I really, really do. And the last word, by the way, feel for Darrell Clarke, sacked at Bristol Rovers. Now, this is a side that he took from the National League back into the Football League, and then into League One. That was in his first spell. He's gone back at the club. And this is bizarre, isn't it? They took 16 points from 18. Then they lost 2-1 against Walsall to 2 goals in the last 20 minutes. And that was the start of a 10-game run where they've lost every game. How can you go from 16 points in 18 to losing 10 on the bounce?
I've got no idea is the answer to the question. Yeah. I mean, that's a fall off a cliff, isn't it? It really is. No, you're right. It's sad. Don't like to see him losing a job. Flip side of the coin again. Ian Holloway, wee man again. That's him sitting 3rd now.
Yeah. Oh. He was upset that Aaron Drinan was sent off.
Yeah.
He said he called it an abomination. Because the first of those yellow cards was for celebrating his goal. Great goal. And all he did was he stood there like that. But I think he was in front of the home fans. Well, it's not Kate. You can't get a yellow card for that. I mean, you seriously?
Is that what we're saying now? Yeah. We've got to pick and choose where and who we celebrate.
Man.
It's scandalous, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. Coming up, we asked the question, Newcastle sitting 12th in the Premier League after the Derby Day loss to Sunderland. Why was it so flat for them? Yeah. And what are their expectations for the season now? We'll discuss that next.
It's a sport often seen as insular and elitist, but it's seen a meteoric rise under its owners Liberty Media, not only in popularity and viewership, but in the ability to almost print money. From greater access to more races, here's how it happened. For decades, Formula One was owned and run by one man, Bernie Ecclestone. He was old school, someone who thought the sport itself was enough, and there was no need for all this modern marketing and social media nonsense. But in 2016, Ecclestone agreed to sell his baby to American group Liberty Media. It cost Liberty Media $4.4 billion, and they quickly got to work. We got an F1 app almost immediately, and teams were allowed to show us more from behind the scenes. One of Liberty's most important deals was with Netflix, which in 2019 brought us Drive to Survive. The effect? An almost 70% rise in viewership for races in the US alone. It's massively benefited Formula One online too, with a rise from 7.8 million followers across its social media platforms in 2016 to around 50 million today. New eyes are on the sport too, with F1's own subscription TV channel, which people can watch anywhere in the world. But the main market they've tapped into is the US. There's now 3 races there a year, in Texas, Miami and Las Vegas, and an American-branded team, Cadillac, getting involved in the sport too. More races seems to be the direction of travel. A street circuit in Madrid's being welcomed onto the calendar, while conversations around a Grand Prix in Africa have ramped up in the last few years. More big events could be in the offing too, after the massive F1 75 season launch event in London in 2025. 7.5 million people tuned in to watch it live across the social media channels, and that doesn't include the viewing figures for where it was broadcast on TV in certain countries. It seems Liberty will do whatever they can to grow the F1 brand. Their efforts have been worthwhile too, with Forbes valuing the sport at $17.1 billion back in 2023, almost 4 times more than what they bought it for in 2016. Not bad, considering it's seen as a sport where people just drive around in circles.
Good morning, Mr. talkSPORT. Breakfast with Arnold Clark at 6 minutes past 7. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. You're a cricket lover. You must feel reassured now, having heard Harry Brooks say that the England cricketers have had a belting few days off in Noosa.
Harry, what are you thinking about?
Never mind their cricket. Who does their PR? Who has told him that it's acceptable to say that?
I mean, at what point did Harry think, all those boys that have spent thousands and thousands of pounds to travel over to Australia and other sides of the world to watch the Ashes, at what point did Harry think they'd be delighted to hear that he's had a couple of belting days?
Yeah. Honestly, that's unimaginable. Harry, you better perform. Harry, you better get runs in Adelaide.
Can see all those Barmy Army boys sitting around the pub. Well, what is going on here? Look at the bright side. Harry and the boys have a few. I mean, and also, Harry, what are you thinking about, son?
No.
I mean, come on.
Goodness knows.
Gonna no do that.
Yeah. On the way for you this morning, we'll be joined by the man who became the oldest player ever to win a game at the Ali Pally, 71-year-old Paul Lim. We'll now get another massive rant from the former Spurs defender Ramon Vega after Thomas Frank's Tottenham lost 3-0 at Forest.
You'll be up for it.
And ex-Celtic star Charlie Mulgrew will give us his honest opinion on Wilfred Nancy after St Mirren beat his side 3-1 in the Scottish Cup final. Before all that, though, on the back page this morning, it's all about Nick Voltemade's own goal that gave Sunderland the victory in the Tyneside derby. After watching his side seemingly not turn up for the biggest game of their season, Newcastle boss Eddie Howe agreed they were below par.
Certainly not from an attacking perspective. I don't think we ever truly got going today, which is a huge frustration. Normally we're a very good attacking team and we put teams under pressure, but today that didn't really happen for whatever reason. But I think it would be the same for both teams, really. It was a game of very few chances. It was a lot of midfield territory being fought for. Unfortunately, the big moment goes against us from the second phase long throw, and that cost us the game. Nick's tried to clear the ball with good intentions. Unfortunately, it's gone in. He's done well for us from defending set plays, and we need to, because we're not the size of team that we were in previous seasons. We're slightly smaller, so we need everyone to pull their weight. And it's happened, but it was sort of in keeping with the game, really. Neither team opened the other up, and it's taken a mistake to win it.
Let's get more on the derby with the Daily Mail's chief football reporter, Craig Hope. Morning, Craig.
Good morning, Craig.
Morning, guys.
So, Craig, look, are we being a bit harsh on Newcastle? I mean, they've lost the derby, but they've lost it to a freak goal.
I mean, first of all, what I will say is if this wasn't a weird time derby laced with intrigue, we probably wouldn't be talking about it this morning, would we? It was 0.56 combined XG, which I believe is the lowest since records began in the Premier League. There, the desperation derby it was in the end, but doesn't that talk to the point that all it needed was one moment of class, one moment of composure, one moment of inspiration? It didn't need much at all. We're talking about Sunderland as the victors. They couldn't even go and win the derby themselves. Their one shot on target was Nick Voltemade's header, which ended up separating the teams. But then you throw that back on Newcastle, because they started, guys, with a front three worth £167 million. And there's an argument at half-time to take off Anthony Elanga, Anthony Gordon and Nick Voltemade. They couldn't lay a glove on Sunderland. They weren't without territory. They weren't without positions of promise. The space was there in the first half. Every time they got into those areas, the cross, the pass, the shot, whatever it may be, that final execution was so badly lacking. Newcastle were set up to an extent to win. They sat in, they soaked up the pressure. They had the players with pace to pay on the break. But when they got there, they did absolutely nothing with it. The attacking effort was abysmal.
Craig, tell me now, Jeff and I were on this morning, 6 o'clock. First thing we said, we loved it. Right? It was starved of quality. There is absolutely no doubt about that. There wasn't a lot of quality on show, but as a derby game, I thought it was as passionate and as exciting to watch as I've seen in a long time. Now, just to give me your opinion on this one. I don't think I've ever watched any derby, particularly the Rangers-Celtic derby, when you go up in the morning and you say, well, I hope we get a good game today, because effectively nobody is interested to a certain degree in the quality of the game. They just want to win the game. And I thought Sunderland looked to me as though they wanted it that little bit more.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with that. And it was the noisiest, nastiest derby in a generation, really. It's 9 years since the last one in the Premier League. So this anticipation for yesterday, Ali, it was different. There was a real rawness to it. And what was intriguing about it was when the derby fixture was confirmed at the start of the season, I think Newcastle automatically assumed it was going to be 6 points, given the advent of new ownership at Newcastle, a Champions League club, Sunderland newly promoted. But fair play to Sunderland. They've looked at that and they've gone about it entirely differently. They've signed 14 players at a cost of £150 million, and they look as if they belong, and their supporters went to the Stadium of Light yesterday with an expectation. In turn, so did their players, and that transpired in the way they played. And that's the point you make, Ali. Yes, it was a game absolutely starved of quality, but when the ball dropped in those 50-50s in the middle of the park, who was first to it? It was Sunderland's players. Their fullbacks, Ronaldo, McKaylee, were excellent. Granit Xhaka in the middle of the park. When we're talking about signings of the season, in terms of players who have influenced the club they've arrived at, Granit Xhaka, wow, is there any player more influential than that? You flip that and look at Newcastle. They spent £55 million on a winger and Anthony Elanga. Now, the team sheet yesterday was almost to be expected. There was one big surprise. That was the inclusion of Elanga. It's 23 games, guys, now without a goal and 1 assist. He could have been taken off at half-time yesterday, as could a few others in black and white. Eddie Howe eventually admitted just before the hour it was a failed experiment. Off went Gordon, off went Elanga, but by then it was too late. They were 1-0 down.
I mean, look, what is it about this group of Newcastle players then, Craig? Because they keep putting in these sort of anemic performances, if you like, away from home. Not just this game. They've lost at West Ham, they've lost at Brentford, they've lost at Brighton, they drew at Leeds, they drew at Bournemouth. I mean, they are doing it repeatedly.
If you go back 2 seasons, Jeff, 2-3 seasons when Newcastle were qualifying for the Champions League, remember they had that S-housery about them, for want of a better word. They were the team everybody hated to love. There was that begrudging respect because they would employ the dark arts. Now, if this had been a Premier League fixture 2 years ago, and this talks to the point Ali made about it not really being a football match yesterday, if they'd have gone there 2 years ago in the league, I think they would have won because they had that nastiness and they had that naughtiness about them and they had the street smarts and the dark arts. They don't have that now. They've gone a little bit soft, and some of that comes back to recruitment now. The player whose name is up in lights on the back page this morning for all the wrong reasons, Nick Voltemada. I've said this for a long time. He's not a bad player. He's actually a very good player. He's just the missing piece in somebody else's jigsaw. And the style of player he is doesn't allow them to play on the front foot with that in-your-face aggression that had become their trademark. They have gone a little bit soft. They have lost that edge, and that is why we're seeing performances like yesterday, and especially repeated performances such as that on the road when they haven't got that natural motivator and the added aggression of the home crowd.
Craig, I was at the game, was it 2 years ago in the Cup, where it was very, very one-sided, and Newcastle came to the Stadium of Light and won it comfortably. But in closing, mate, I want to take a message I already said at 6 o'clock. Just get your views on it. I thought the tribute to Gary Rowell at the start of the game, I played with Gary and I was singing his praises. A wonderful lad and no mean finisher, Craig. I thought that the respect shown him at the start of the game was lovely.
No, it was brilliant. And actually, someone mentioned your name beforehand, Ali, and said that you were big mates with Gary. And I thought the applause, they got it right. They played the Yellow Submarine. 50,000 Sunderland supporters joining in there. That was Gary's song. Then when they had the tribute, I thought they got that right with the applause rather than the silence, given the risk of a silence. But the applause, I looked up and every Newcastle fan was joining in, even though he scored that hat-trick against Newcastle in 79, to have that universal appreciation for a guy. And I didn't know Gary particularly well, but he was always in and around the press box and really good-looking guy as well, wasn't he? I couldn't believe, Ali, 68 years old, such a young age, but goodness, Gary Rowell looked 48. Brilliant player. I'll always have that hat-trick, and I thought the show of appreciation and, the timing of Gary's passing as well, I thought just added something to the game for Sunderland. It was a match they couldn't lose, and they didn't lose, and it was a fitting tribute.
Absolutely, mate.
Craig, thanks very much.
Thanks for your time.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Craig. Ben has texted, change the subject and change the mood. Says, Ben's texted, morning lads, awful weekend here. Says, my wife's left me, my dog's passed away. However, all is not lost. Says, delighted that Harry Brook and the lads have had a belting 2 weeks down under, which has cheered me right up. Brilliant. Thanks, Ben. Love it.
I bet you Ben started something. It's all going to kick off now.
Well, let's hope so. Coming up was his rant in the press conference on Saturday, the beginning of the end for Enzo Maresca at Chelsea. We'll discuss that next. Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast, 7:20, Monday, December the 15th. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. So Chelsea beat Everton 2-0 at the weekend. They sit fourth in the Premier League table, but the game was overshadowed by Enzo Maresca's post-match interview. So, early breakfast host and huge Chelsea fan Olivia Bazat is here to bring us more. And it was a little strange, Olivia.
Yeah, it was, no wins in 4 for Chelsea after, the Arsenal draw included in that. But they got back to winning ways against Everton, albeit, not the best performance, but a win is a win. And in his post-match press conference, Enzo Maresca was asked a simple question about Malo Gusto's performance, goal and an assist in a game, played very well. And I'm not quite sure the press were expecting the answer Maresca gave. So let's take a little listen.
Since I joined the club, the last 48 hours has been the worst 48 hours since I joined the club, because many people didn't support us. People didn't support me and the team. In general. I love the fans, and we are very happy with the fans.
Right, okay, so, I think we're going to get a little bit more clarity. Maybe he speaks to the media today ahead of the Cardiff game in the League Cup, where I think it's expected that he is going to try and basically clarify what he said. Now, what I took from it wasn't aimed at the fans, like he said, loved the fans. He obviously came out and was very, he backed his squad, have played loads of games without Cole Palmer, loads of games without Levi Colwill, loads of games without Moises Caicedo as well. And I think my takeaway from this is that maybe aiming at the club's hierarchy a little bit, maybe the sporting directors to be precise, because of some criticism he may have received due to tactical decisions and rotation decisions that he made after the Arsenal game. I think it was quite a weird time to come out and say something, Jeff. So why do you think...
He's been bursting to say it. He's been busting to say it. Yeah. And you have to say it on the back of a win, not on the back of a defeat, from a position of strength. And it's obvious he's having a go at the hierarchy. Absolutely obvious. And I wouldn't be surprised if he backtracks a bit today. But he wanted to make the sort of headlines that he's made. He wants to bring attention to the fact that he feels he's been unfairly treated in some respect at that football club. And my only concern would be, from his point of view, it's dangerous to criticise the hierarchy at a football club like Chelsea.
There's two groups, anywhere, I think.
Yeah.
There's two groups of people, as a manager, as a coach, you cannot take on, because you'll never beat them. That's the hierarchy and the fans. You can't do it. You'll never take them on and beat them. Don't care who you are, what job you're in, you won't do it. But it's kind of strange, because he's led us down a garden path.
Yeah, a little bit.
And he's not opened the gate.
No. But he might open the gate.
Well, he's going to have to.
I would be staggered if he opens that gate. Well, what do Chelsea fans think of him?
Well, I think it's, in terms of his tenure sort of as a whole, I think it's very split. I think half of them can appreciate what he's done, and he's massively settled a ship in terms of squad size as well. A lot of criticism about that. And he's turned us into a team that can compete, I think. Jury's out a little bit. Some fans don't think he's the manager that can take us to the next level in terms of actually winning the Premier League title. However, one thing is for sure, and that is that in this situation, they have backed him. Now, some Chelsea fans have their own problems with the sporting directors, and that is who I think that, this is only a personal opinion, that's who I think this is aimed at, not Todd Boehly and Bedan Egbali, who are the co-owners. I don't think it's aimed at them. I think it's more aimed at some of the criticism he's maybe received from the sporting directors. And because of that, the Chelsea fans are going big on backing Maresca in this situation. My only worry is, where do you go from here? If you, like you say, Ali, you come out and you criticise the club's hierarchy, does that only lead to one
I'm with Jeff
thing?
in the respect that I don't think he's going to keep going. I don't think he'll keep going forward. I think he'll backtrack to a certain degree.
Do you?
I think he'll be. I think, and we'll find out later on, as you say. I think he'll now say, "Well, I've gave them enough. I'm not going to keep going down that, because I need to go on with my job now, because it's not going to help him at all." And he will get asked about it, and he should get asked about it at the press conference today. But it ain't going to help him or Chelsea if he keeps going on about it now. I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, look, 8 points of Arsenal in the Premier League, away at Newcastle next, 13th in the Champions League, unlikely to make a top 8 place, bearing in mind, particularly the last game is Napoli away. So, I mean, maybe the hierarchy have got cause for complaint with him.
I still think he's done a good job. I do.
Well, so do I, personally.
I really do. I don't think he's done a brilliant, fantastic job. World Club champions as well.
Yeah, well, whatever we think about the World Club Championship, he's taken Chelsea side out there and won the thing.
Correct.
And beat one of the best teams that,
beat the
best team in Paris Saint-Germain.
And were brilliant in that game, by the way.
Yeah, and I think that's, Chelsea in one-off games against the biggest and best teams. Chelsea fans would back us to beat anyone in a one-off game, but it's the decisions in the perhaps so-called smaller games like the Leeds, the Bournemouth, and Atalanta away. I think is a decent point, but given how the game went, it's probably a little bit frustrating because Chelsea went 1-0 up and then ended up losing 2-1. But it's the decisions in those games that I think that the Chelsea fans are a little bit frustrated about, because you don't win leagues by beating all the big teams. There's far more games against the smaller teams, so-called smaller teams, and there are the big teams, and that's where Chelsea, in Maresca's tenure, have fallen short, is in those games that they're expected to win and they don't. So I think they're sort of split 50-50.
The Leeds game was a show. I mean, the Leeds have turned the corner a little bit and get some good performances. But you're absolutely right. Chelsea cannot be expected to go up there and lose if they harbour any aspirations of winning a league.
We shall see what comes out today in the press conference. Very interesting listening indeed. Olivia, that's you done, is it?
Yes, back to bed for a few hours.
Thank you very much indeed.
Then I got a podcast,
And you go over it all again.
Absolutely. Yeah, great. That whole podcast is going to be about Enzo Maresca now, isn't it? Brilliant.
Lucas texts, he says, morning, Jeff. He said, I am the secretary of Anstey Nomads, the small Leicestershire side who knocked your Hartlepool out of the FA Trophy at the
weekend. Get him on the phone.
One of the best days of my life and the best day in the club's history. Glad we could contribute. 150 away fans non-stop singing for 90 minutes today. I'll never forget. Luke, a very happy nomad. Luke, congratulations.
Congratulations, mate. Brilliant.
As well. And Mark has texted. He said, Nick Voltemada thought he'd scored the best own goal of the weekend. Harry Brooks says, hold my pint. I'm on the way to Silverstone to work. I've got the man flu. I need a couple of belting days off as well. Thank you very much indeed, Mark. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to Celtic. 3 games, 3 bad defeats for Wilfred Nancy. Celtic fans, give us a call, 03717 223344. Are you already beginning to think he's the wrong man for the job? Do the board need to take some of the blame? Does he deserve a longer opportunity than 3 matches? We'll discuss that next. We want to hear from you.
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go. Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go.
But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've had a look. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on the side of a cliff in the Faroe Islands in Euro 2000 qualifying. The pitch at Toftir was like a cow field, never mind those gale force winds. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time. Cue Scandi scenes. But away trips don't come tougher than playing Bolivia at altitude in La Paz. Or so we thought. The Bolivians have now taken home advantage to another level, literally 500 metres further up the Andes to the country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Meanwhile, the loudest stadium in world football officially is the Ali Sami Yen, where Galatasaray fans set a world record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead. But our most intimidating away day is in Wales. Prison team HMP Prescoed was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Good morning, 7:34, Monday, December the 15th. I just popped out to go to the loo a couple of minutes ago and left Coisty with introducing the news. Did it go smoothly, Ali?
You've got no idea how smoothly it went.
Oh, that's good.
And I'm taking full responsibility because I was sitting having a look at Sinead's computer. She uses that one to read.
And what did you do?
I don't know, but I've obviously pressed the wrong button. Because she's panicked and shot over to the other side of the studio.
Yeah.
And then the panic continued because she couldn't get on over there. But I don't think anybody noticed.
No, we won't mention it again.
Nobody noticed.
Carlos, Man City fan, says, just wondering if you guys were going to talk about how good of a result the City game was, considering we were at Madrid midweek to go to Palace and keep a clean sheet. Carl, you're exactly right. I think you were massively flattered by the scoreline in the end, but it's a brilliant, brilliant win, and you're right to point out it comes on the back of that away game at Real Madrid as well.
They were excellent over there. I thought they were really comfortable in Madrid as well.
So 2 points behind Arsenal, and just bear in mind that City have Arsenal to play at home.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting to see when we get the odds from Coral, just who are the title favourites right now. That's going to be really interesting. I think it's really close.
Would you say? I'm still thinking it'll be Arsenal.
I think Arsenal will be favourites.
But
they
should be.
I'm not convinced they should be. Exactly. Right. North of the border, Wilfred Nancy's terrible start to life as Celtic boss continued. They lost the Scottish League Cup final 3-1 to St Mirren. Brilliant for St Mirren, but it's 3 defeats in 3 for Nancy. He reacted to that defeat when he spoke to talkSPORT's David Tanner.
Painful, the result, especially for the players, for the fans, and for the club who are in control of the game. Regarding the way we penetrated the box, and I like also the structure that we had regarding the way we attack. We were able to attack on the side. We were able to attack through the middle. So this is the direction. Sorry, this is exactly something that I want them to do again. The second goal that we conceded, this is something that it concerned me a bit, because we were in control of the game. We know that they can be good on counter-attack, but we did a kind of ping-pong game. You know, we had the ball, we lost the ball, we had the ball, we lost the ball. And this is this moment that I want my player to be more confident, to have more belief on themselves.
Just take one line from that little interview with David Tanner there. I liked the structure we had. We've just lost 3-1. How can you like the structure that they had?
I know. Listen, Jeff, I don't know. I mean, do we make too many excuses for things that can caught up in language barriers and things like that? I don't know, but you couldn't have liked the structure. I mean, that's you have to say I disagree with that totally. You might like one or two things, but for the structure, I'm not so sure I'd be saying I liked.
I mean, Joe has texted. He says Nancy has to go. There is no way back for him. Get Martin and Maloney and Fothering back in as soon as possible to save the season. Is Joe speaking for a lot of Celtic fans, do you think? We're looking at it and say 3 games.
Yeah, I'll bet Joe is. I mean, I think from the outside looking in, it's been a disastrous start. I mean, but Jeff, you and I spoke. I for the life of me, could not understand why you'd give, not so much why you'd give the new coach those games. My argument would be, why would you not give Martin those games? We've been on a good run. I think they've won, was it 7 of 8 under Martin? And I was quick to point out that, you know, the first thing you'd say is Martin was a safe pair of hands, right? Clearly, Jeff, Martin is a lot more talented as a manager than a safe pair of hands. But that's exactly what he is, and probably what they needed at that particular time. He came in and did great. So why would you change it? Why would you run the risk? And I couldn't for the life of me understand why you'd bring in a totally inexperienced coach in the respect of Scottish football. And your 3 games, by the way, are games against the top of the league, a top European team, or a very, very good European team, and a cup final. I find it bizarre.
CT says Martin O'Neill 7 wins from 8, Nantes loses 3 from 3. Are they not the same footballers? And look, I mean, we're looking in from the outside already. The fans booed them, you know, during and after that League Cup final. And obviously they're very unhappy with the hierarchy as well at Celtic, understandably so. But how long does he get? You know, I think it's away to Dundee United.
Away to Dundee United next. Yeah, absolutely. Away to United next.
Because it's a job that demands instant success.
100%. Absolutely 100%. He won't get a lot longer unless he starts winning games of football. It's as simple as that. I do have a little bit of sympathy for him, all that stuff, you know, when he beat the Hearts and he's sitting with his board. And a lot of managers sit with boards and they do that stuff at half time, and it just, because they get beat. I mean, if they'd won that game against Hearts, everybody says, oh, well, that's great, he's looking at a board. So I don't read too much into that. But the fact of the matter is, he's got to get a result of his team. I come down with a few of the Celtic boys last night in the flight, Jeff, into City. And of course they were disappointed, absolutely were disappointed. But do you know something? I don't think they, like we mentioned before, I don't think they were shocked. Because I don't think they're happy, you know, with I just don't think they're happy with the club, full stop, at this moment in time. A lot of them very unhappy with what's going on at board level, right? I mean, we saw the what do you call it, the AGM or what it was, and it was a shambles. Absolute shambles, which they had to stop early. You know, and I've never seen that before. So there's a lot of things unsettling that are unsettled at the club, and you mentioned that the fans been unhappy Wilfred Nancy. This is just a natural follow-on effect. From the Celtic board's point of view, they had to get that right because the fans weren't happy with them in the first place. So now that it seems at this early moment in proceedings that they've not got it right, there's just more pressure on them.
Incredibly difficult times as far as Wilfred Nancy is concerned. Don't forget Martin O'Neill back in the talkSPORT studio alongside Jim and Simon from 10. And we'll hear from the Celtic legend Charlie Mulgrew at 9:15 this morning. Look, we're talking about managers under pressure. Just listen to this one if you're a Newcastle United fan. It comes from Chris, who is a Newcastle United fan. He says, gutted about the result and the performance at Sunderland. Bruno's comments post-game contradict those of Eddie Howe. Something seems off. Sunderland deserved to win, first to everything. If Howe can't get our team up for that game, we have a problem. Players saying they'll put it right Wednesday don't get it. That was the game. Not many managers survive a loss at that place in that manner. Howe out. That's what Chris, the Newcastle United fan, says.
I'm not having that.
Well, neither am I.
I'm absolutely
But
not
let's see if Chris... Does Chris get any support out there? Let's hear from you.
Yeah.
Whether he does or he doesn't.
Jeff, it's one of these things, right? See if Newcastle win that game 1-0 and it's all the way about. I think fans are really entitled, well entitled, to look at their side, and all they can ask for is a level of commitment, right? Now, I honestly think Newcastle did have a level of commitment. I really did. I think they had a level of commitment.
Well, we saw that from Dan Byrne.
But I just thought Sunderland had a greater level of commitment. I just think, and Chris has got it spot on, they were first at every second ball.
Yeah.
You know, wasn't it a great game, right, in terms of the quality? But I tell you what, you couldn't take your eyes off it, Jeff. I really enjoyed it. I mean, you can say what you like.
It was blood and thunder.
It was.
Yeah.
And you know something? Sometimes that's disappeared for our game and we miss it.
Yeah.
Well, I look on that as a quality that we have always had in our game. Blood and thunder, things that the fans demanded. And we got it yesterday. We definitely got it in the weird weird derby, whatever you want to call it. We got it. I just felt Sunderland's was greater.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you noticed, we had a few problems with the news and Sinead at 7:30. So I've got a news flash to bring you. Okay. It reads like this. It says, Keir Starmer will address the House today to state inflation is at a record high. Unemployment is through the roof and taxes will have to rise again. But, Mr. Speaker, Harry Brook and the lads in Oz have had a belting few days. So every cloud...
I knew you were going to...
Brilliant. That's from Tom the Owl. Tom, thank you so much. That absolutely brilliant.
Belting few days. Even if we hadn't thrown the word belting in, Jeff, do you know what I mean?
Right, we have a belting 2.25 hours still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in.
And wasn't it fantastic at the end of the game to see not just the Sunderland fans, but the Sunderland players belting that out as well? Just brilliant. Sunderland fans, the floor is yours really this morning.
Give us a call, guys.
10 straight league games unbeaten against Newcastle now in the big derby, the game of the season. Are you the best team in the North East right now? What actually is possible this season? 03717 223344. Tell us as well if you're concerned that you're going to lose 6 players to the African Cup of Nations, or does that matter? You have won the big one.
Would have to be a concern.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Anstey Nomad fans as well. We want to hear from you after you thrashed Hartlepool. We don't really.
I had you missing that one out. I saw it was a late addition to the script.
It was a very late addition.
Script, mate. I had you missing that out. Well played.
I want to appear even-handed, but there's no chance of them getting through. That was our look ahead, all thanks to Travis Perkins.
Life too, for us.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
Morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with the Arnold Clark app. Everything for your car all in one place. Download it today. Chris, who's a Newcastle fan, wants Eddie Howe out. Lewis says, don't agree with Chris's comments at all. Yesterday was a painful loss. We've not been good enough this season, especially away. Let's not forget where we've come from and which man helped us to achieve our first domestic trophy for 70 years, as well as Champions League football. Well said, Lewis. I think you're going to be in the majority. Andy has texted. Did you watch the talkSPORT darts last week?
Yeah, I tuned in a bit of it, yeah.
Andy's texted me. I didn't see it, but Andy's illuminated me. He said, morning, Jeff and Ali. Last week I sat down to watch the talkSPORT Darts Championship. Can I ask, was the board moving? Were the players throwing from the back of the room? They kept missing the board. The pubbers had to get a plaster in to fix the wall. Then Gabby goes and hits the light, going for a double. Also, Gabby was left on 5. He hit a single one, then asked Russ how many he had left. It sounds like the high quality of the previous year was very much maintained.
Gabby. Oh, dear me. Isn't that great?
Brilliant, brilliant. Did he can't hit?
I
did
can't
he really
remember.
hit the light?
He probably did.
He did. He hit the light. Brilliant. I love it. Right, headlines this morning. Who's written this?
I know, fine well, who's written it?
Anstey Nomads will look to keep up their good form after beating Hartlepool as they head to Ashby Ivanhoe in the Leicester Cup quarter-finals tomorrow night. Tough Tuesday night in Ashby Ivanhoe is the famous saying, after all. Goodness me. Man City and Aston Villa have kept pace with the Premier League leaders. Arsenal with victories away at Palace and West Ham, respectively. Just 3 points between the three of them. And Leeds' point away at Brentford yesterday has left a 3-point gap between themselves and West Ham, while Wolves are 14 adrift at the bottom and Burnley now 6 points off the pace, with the team being booed off at the weekend. Speaking after Saturday's 3-2 home loss against Fulham, Burnley boss Scott Parker was rather brutally asked whether he's still the man for the job.
Well, that's out of my hands, really. I feel like I have the utmost support from the owners. I feel like I have the utmost support, and I think from the group, in terms of what you've seen out there, absolutely giving everything. So that's exactly how I see. I get it's in my role in this current day. I'm only ever going to be judged on a win or a loss. It was only 4 months ago. I was standing on a balcony after huge success and everyone cheering my name. And within 4 months, that's quickly changed. I get that. Well, I don't get it, but that's the way it is.
It's tough for Scott Parker at the moment. Look, first of all, they're in danger of being cut adrift. There is no question about that. 6 points of safety already. Scott went on to say the sound of the fans booing breaks his heart. You know, I've got a bit of sympathy with him because I watched the sort of half-hour extended highlights.
Had chances.
Yeah, but didn't watch it. Yeah, they had a number. Ogachukwu was terrific and had a number of chances. And the best Fulham player on the day was their goalkeeper, who made a series of terrific saves.
Leonard had a couple of great saves.
He did.
The only thing
they're leaking a lot of goals.
Yeah. It's a little bit like Wolves at the weekend. Yeah, that's probably one of Wolves' best performances this season. They don't get anything. You know, Burnley, you're right, played well, right, and another day take more chances. They come up against a goalkeeper who is excellent. But the fact of the matter is, that's them playing well and still getting no points. That's a big, big concern.
Yeah.
It's a massive concern.
It is. I think in Scott Parker's defence, and they've lost 7 in a row, to put it in perspective, so he's going to come under pressure, regardless of who you're managing. He says we are hugely competitive. And if you look at those 7 losses, 4 of them have been by the odd goal. If you look at 12 defeats this season, 7 of them have been by the odd goal. And I know that's scant consolation to fans, but he's right, they are competitive.
Oh, and he's well within his rights to make that point. I think that he's justified to make that point. However, the big issue is, I think fans would accept them being actually less competitive in 1 or 2 games if in the games the competitive are picking up 3 points. That's the problem they've got. You know, it's no point having a level of consistency being competitive, right? You have to pick up points, particularly when you are. If you're not picking up points when you're being competitive, there'll be games this season where you're not competitive. So that's just where they are at this moment in time. I mean, Jeff, I need to say, they're kind of where I thought they would be, right? You know what? Wolves are where I thought they would be. You know, I tipped those two teams to get. I don't get any pleasure in saying it, but when we do our predictions, as we all do at the start of the season, those were two of the teams that had to get down. Now, I didn't have Sunderland going down, but I didn't expect them to be where they are.
Yeah. I mean, I get the Burnley fans to a degree, and I know he's under pressure, Scott Parker. But look, and the ownership will say we spent £112 million in the course of the summer. The issue is, though, what they spent that money on, or who they spent the money on, rather. You can't compare with Sunderland, who spent their money so well.
Wisely.
For instance, I mean, I'm not picking on him. Amanda Brozier cost £20 million. Now, he hasn't scored a goal for them. I thought he played pretty well, actually, at the weekend, but he's won. Schumer, £13 million. He's had 8 starts, and he's been subbed off in every single one of those starts. They spent £12 million on Bashir Humphreys. He's made one 88-minute substitute appearance. Now, that is in a large part due to injuries. But their signings, for whatever reason, have not worked out. So does Scott Parker deserve to carry the can for that?
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, yeah, because he's at the head of the food chain.
Yeah, but we know how football clubs are run these days, you know, and Scott Parker will not have been the player who's been going out saying, you know, I want him, I want him.
Well, that's a completely different discussion for you and I to have. If we're talking about directors of football and all that, you know, picking players, no, then he should not be held accountable for that. If he's been handed those players, then the director, by whoever, whether it's the director of football, they have to take responsibility. But this is the problem we've got nowadays. I mean, I'm just a firm believer that the man that picks the team surely should pick the players.
Yeah.
I just think it makes sense, right? Whether you've got a director of football and they obviously they have to be in discussion and say, look, I want a left back, and the director of football gives you 3 options. Whether I don't know how they operate, how they work, right? But there has to be a level of certainly has to be a level of communication between the two. But if the manager doesn't have a big say in who's coming in, then whoever picks the players has to take responsibility. Surely,
yeah. You feel like away at Bournemouth on Saturday. You feel like that's a big game.
Oh yeah,
they've got to stop the rot.
Yes,
somehow that is for sure. But look, I hope they stick with Scott Parker at least for the time being. Anyway,
so do I.
Patrick said Sunderland not too concerned about African Cup of Nations. It will have an impact with players like Talby going all the way with Morocco.
Yeah.
Said, but some of our players, as great as they are, won't be gone for too long. Renildo and Mozambique aren't getting to the final, for instance, I don't think. And that's a very fair point. Massive to win the derby, and you look up at the table, but lose, and we would have been looking down this morning. That's how narrow the margins are. A long way to go. I think we have enough depth to scrape through the next 4 weeks before the lads come back from AFCON. Patrick, thank you very much indeed. Coming up, we'll turn our attention back to Sunderland and the fans starting to dream of a European tour. 03717 223344 is the number to call to have your say.
When Sir Jim Ratcliffe took control of footballing operations at United, the Manchester-born billionaire was somewhat welcomed in as a homegrown hero, ready to save the club from the dark days of the Glazers. But in just 12 months, he became a punchbag for many fans. So what happened? Let's take a look and you can decide for yourself. The important context here is that over the last 3 years, the club has lost over 300 million quid. And from day dot, Ratcliffe committed to fixing this, which of course is the right thing for the club. But what seemed to get fans' backs up is the way Sir Jim Ratcliffe, accompanied by Sir Dave Brailsford, went about it. For example, talkSPORT understands their lunch options at the Carrington canteen have been reduced to just soup and sandwiches, which the higher-ups at the club say will save them 1 million quid a year. Now that might make sense for many who don't get free meals at work themselves, but it gets a little bit more picky than that. It was reported that after staff brought some stationery, they were ordered to send sellotape back because it wasn't considered essential. The reward for being Steward of the Week used to be 50 quid, but that was scrapped and replaced by a paper certificate. And such is the grip Ratcliffe has on spending, he reportedly scrapped company credit cards, meaning some staff racking up hundreds of pounds worth of expenses and spending weeks out of pocket waiting to be reimbursed. But it's not just the stingy decisions around the amount of tea bags in the cafeteria. In 2024 alone, Ratcliffe oversaw 250 redundancies and more were announced at the beginning of 2025. Now, while there are people who acknowledge that United staff numbers are overinflated, it's the optics which aren't great. Because while all this has been going on, Casemiro's getting paid 350 grand a week, and the club forked out 14 million quid getting rid of Eric Ten Hag and Dan Ashworth. But United fans' rage doesn't just stop here at the cuts. Ratcliffe's unpopular decision to introduce a flat ticket price of 66 quid for every fan, even children, certainly did not go down well. For fans, it feels like the very foundation of the club's support is being attacked for the sake of making marginal financial gains. But Ratcliffe has backed it, saying if you shy away from difficult decisions, then nothing is going to change. And time will tell whether these measures will improve operations at the club and help drag standards up on the pitch. But one thing's for sure, his first year wasn't exactly a charm offensive, and there's still a long way to go for United to be back to where many say they belong.
Good morning, Monday, December the 15th, 8:05. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and our friends at Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. We just touched on Scott Parker. Ollie, who's a Burnley fan, has texted, and he says, we Burnley fans were extremely pleased with 10 points from a tough first 9 games. Now, it's really hard to see where the next point is coming from. To see players not sprinting back, as highlighted by TV, is not going to go down well with people in Burnley who had 9 years of Sean Dyche's mantra that minimum requirement is maximum effort. This is going to be the third time our American owners have failed in a Premier League season, and no doubt another ridiculous upheaval awaits us next summer. Their little side gig in Espanyol is going well, though. I do not trust them one bit. Ollie, thank you very much in that pretty damning of the ownership there. I wasn't aware there was dissatisfaction with the ownership at Burnley until now. Let's see if Ollie's in a minority. Let's hear from you, Burnley fans. Sunderland got the bragging rights very much in the North East this morning after beating Newcastle in the time we had Derby yesterday. The 3 points take them up to 7th, and their boss, Régis Le Bris, was asked how important it's been to give a good account of themselves this season.
Yeah, I think it can happen for a newly promoted side, and it's obvious that we'll have tough periods in this Premier League, so it's good to break the negative dynamic, and after that we'll see, because we never know before the game.
Régis Le Bris has done an incredible job. Just before we move on to talk about it, there was a great moment in commentary yesterday. I think it was Peter Drury who said the fourth official must love days like this, when he's got Régis Le Bris on one side and Eddie Howe on the other. And he's dead right, isn't it? The fourth official must have had a grin as wide as the Tyne Bridge there, that it's not Arteta against Pep or whatever. And he knows he's going to get a quiet afternoon. So, look, I mean, let's touch on AFCON, first of all. They're going to lose Ronaldo, Talbi, Traore, Siddiqui, Matsuaku and Habib Diarra, even though Habib Diarra is not fit enough to play at the moment. Do you think they can cope with that number? I think there were 4 starters yesterday.
Yeah. Yes, I think they'll cope, but I think it'll have an effect. But, I mean, I just think it's really, really difficult to take that number and that quality out your team for it not to have an effect, unless you're Man City or Arsenal, Jeff, who obviously, as we know, have got incredible squads. It is the level of the effect, I think, that's the important thing. You know, clearly they'll still have to pick up points in their absence. You know, whether they'll continue in the run and the form that they're on, I would question. Clearly, I hope they do. But I just think you're taking a good bit of quality out your team, and I'm not sure you get the capability to replace it with the same quality.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I do think, though, they've got a decent squad.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, yesterday on the bench, Trey Hume came on, Dan Neil, Chris Rigg, Mayenda, Isidore, Mundle, who's been injured, Simon Adingra, who staggeringly wasn't selected, I think it's the Ivory Coast of this team. He was player of the tournament in the last African Nations Cup, not selected. Gertruida. I think they've got a good squad. I think they've got a squad that probably can cope as well, but we shall see. It was a big game to win, that is for sure.
Oh, massive. Yeah. Absolutely massive yesterday.
Because the caller, the texter earlier on said they would have been looking down rather than up.
You could see the way they played it. The way they played it, you could see how important it was.
Yeah. Let's take a couple of Sunderland callers, shall we? Tom is a Sunderland fan. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Tom.
Morning, gents. Great shows, are.
Thank you, mate. How's the head this morning? Was there a celebratory beer or two?
Well, I told the wife I'd be home at 5 o'clock. I just didn't specify which 5 o'clock.
In all seriousness, Tom, I mean, we were talking about it, and, you know, we can argue there maybe might not have been that much in terms of quality in the game, but in terms of the level of commitment and the way Sunderland went about it, Sunderland fans had to be delighted with what they saw.
Honestly, we couldn't believe it. We were sat in the pub beforehand and we spoke about how we were quite worried how Newcastle were going to have all these quick players when we seen the team come out with Alanga and Gordon and things like that. And we thought we were going to get pressed quite high up the pitch. We were worried. And then from minute 1, Newcastle just sat back. And I think for the first 30 minutes, we had 74% possession, which is unheard of this season. Absolutely unheard of. And then we were just knocking the ball around. We didn't look like scoring, to be perfectly honest. But we just knocked the ball around, and Newcastle were happy for us to do it.
Brilliant.
I think the moment that lifted us massively was the 50-50s in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
We won every second ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. How surprised have you been as a Sunderland fan this season so far then, Tom?
You can't put words to it, to be honest, Jeff. I said at the start of the season I'd stay up by 1 goal on goal difference. And I'm now sitting there thinking I'd stay up and by 10 points. And AFCON's a worry. because obviously you lose, like you say, you've lost 4 of the starters from yesterday. Siddiqui being the big one. I think when I watched the match back last night, Peter Drury came out and said 70% of the earth's covered by water.
Yeah,
the rest of it's covered by no Siddiqui.
Yeah.
And that's the big loss, because who do we fit into that gap? The natural replacement, Dan Neil, who hasn't played a minute of Premier League football. So that's probably the main concern.
Yeah, well, you just hope that people like Dan Neil see it, grasp the opportunity and step up.
Yeah.
Tom, thank you so much.
Thanks for the call, Tom.
Cheers, gents.
Want to squeeze another Sunderland fan in, and that's Peter. Morning to you, Peter.
Good morning.
Good morning, gents. How are you?
Yeah, probably not as well as you, I imagine.
Happy boy today, and Ali, had the pleasure of watching you in the full end in that strip that was predominantly white with a red stripe.
Oh, I remember it well, Peter. Great days, mate.
You carried it off well.
Great days. Thanks very much. I just thought while we're on that and not talking about that strip, I might as well bring it up again. Wonderful reception for Gary Rowell, mate.
Oh, that was heartbreaking.
Wasn't it just
that Saturday night?
Devastated when I found out on Saturday night, mate. Absolutely devastated. What a player, but what a man. What a man.
What a legend. He was my favourite, along with Stan Cummins when I was growing up.
Oh, he's Stan, man. Yeah, great days.
Yeah.
But you must have been absolutely buzzing yesterday with the level of commitment and the way they went about it. And just we're talking about the middle of the park there with Siddiqui, but what about the signing of Granit Xhaka, Peter?
Incredible. I was a bit twitchy because halfway through the second half, I don't know if you noticed, he was limping around a bit and it looked like he'd had a knock. And then I'm thinking, oh no, lose your AFCON, don't lose Granit Xhaka, because he's your manager on the pitch. I mean, he's just a colossus.
Yeah, I mean, he has been sensational.
He's really important, really important player. But the most important thing yesterday, apart from the bragging rights, was the 3 points, because I think it's going to take a record number of points. I think it is going to be 40 to stay up this season, given the teams that are down there.
Never is. Honestly, it's never 40, Peter. Never anywhere near it.
But you got West Ham, you got Leeds, and you got Forest. They're going to pick up points. That's my worry.
Yeah.
And we've gone down with 44, more than 40 points before.
Yeah.
And I've got the T-shirt, and I've got the heartache.
Hey, Peter, don't be pessimistic. Enjoy the day. Thanks for the call, Peter.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, lots of love, gents.
All the best. All the best.
You know, just...
I think, something, I think you might have a point,
I mean, it might be higher than usual. I mean, I think it was... 26 kept you up last season.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous.
But, but I think it might be 36. It's never 40 anymore. It was West Ham went down, didn't they, with 40 or 41 or whatever it was.
It'll be a lot nearer. I don't think there's any doubt.
I think it'll be nearer, but I just don't see it. The Sunderland thing, I just want one little thought that occurred to me. We talk about desire and will to win and the signings. And I look through, which from back to front, the performance. The goalkeeper, there was a moment in, I think it was the second half.
He's been terrific.
He's come off his line and he's come almost to the edge of his box through a dozen players to take a ball. And he didn't have saves to make yesterday, really, but he's been magnificent, and the confidence he gives that side is brilliant. So from the back line to Brian Brobby up front, who is a proper blooming handful, and Isidore is as well, by the way, when he comes on to replace him. It's a squad to be proud of, I think.
Yeah, well, you look at it. I mean, I saw them at Chelsea, and they're well deserved of the late victory that they got. And the fans were absolutely incredible.
Oh yeah,
and you could feel it coming through the telly again yesterday.
Yeah,
I mean the atmosphere at that place.
Paul from Rossendale, quick text from him about Burnley again. He said, I've always been behind Scott Parker, but 7 defeats in a row is deflating for the fans. As a club, I don't think we know what we are. In our last 3 seasons in the Championship, we've only lost about 5 games, but the Premier League always seems a step too far from us. We need at least a point at Bournemouth. But who would do a better job than Scott Parker with this squad? Paul, thank you very much indeed for that. Coming up, we'll ask Coisty what chance he thinks he has of living to 100. That's next.
You'll laugh at
That's what we do here at talkSPORT. We make the news and we break the news.
Chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, we love you. And in chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, what we'll do, near, far, in a motor car, oh what a happy time.
Good morning, 8:21. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. This is talkSPORT Breakfast, the iconic Chitty Chitty Bang Bang theme tune which we're playing.
I remember my wee mum take me.
Do you?
To watch it.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
You've never seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
It's the flying car, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think I have.
What a movie. I was a wee, I can't tell you what age I was. Well, when did that come out? But my wee mum took me the pictures.
Well, Dick Van Dyke, star of the show.
Fantastic.
Turned 100 at the
Isn't it brilliant, that?
Brilliant. Yeah.
And do you know, son, we lost another classic at the weekend, another hero, Stanley Baxter. Who I think,
great.
Oh, he was hilarious. And I think Stanley, unless I'm mistaken, was 99.
Yeah.
But
amazing.
Isn't it brilliant? Dick Van Dyke, 100 years of age.
Here's a couple of things that Dick Van Dyke is older than. Sliced bread. He's older than sliced bread.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And the first ever TV, he's older than that as well. I mean, phenomenal, really.
First ever TV.
Yeah, 1926.
That's when my dad was born.
Yeah, was it?
My dad was born 26.
Blimey. Yeah, and I think the first sliced bread was cut in 1928. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, he's also 29 years older than the man who broke the record at the weekend for the oldest player ever to win at the Ali Pali, who's Paul Lim, who'll be joining us in around 20 minutes.
Wait for that.
Do you fancy still going strong at 100? I mean, for me, that would mean the year would be 2056. That's my target.
Hey, I need to tell you, every morning I wake up on this side of the grass, I'm delighted.
And every morning I wake up and I feel 100.
Yeah, a lovely story. I mean, Dick Van Dyke, I can remember it as if it was yesterday. Brilliant.
8:23 almost. Let's get the latest odds with Coral and Sam and Claire.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here to bring the cheer for all the festive football. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Simon, good morning to you.
Good morning, Simon.
Good morning. That's actually a lovely segue because in 2026, Coral will be celebrating its 100th year.
Oh, wow.
So how's that? Yeah, so Joe Coral first started betting at greyhound tracks in 1926.
Wow.
So we're actually planning a year of celebration of that across the board.
I'd love to know what price either Coisty or I make in 100.
Good news is, guys, we can do this. No. It's actually the one thing we tend not to offer odds on. And over the years, you get crazy odds requests for children playing for England or etc. We do get asked, can I have odds on myself living to 100? We all say no.
Simon, I need to be honest with you, I'd be far more interested in the odds of Jeff and I not making it to 100.
Well, we're definitely not offering odds on that. Exactly.
Yeah, but we'd never collect in that case, would we?
No, that's true.
Yeah.
But your relatives can, of course. And actually, funny enough, again, it was actually a Ladbrokes bet, but a chap wandered in the other day into a betting shop. He'd found a bet of £10 on Denman to win the 2009 Hennessy Gold Cup.
No!
Yeah. And we paid out his £60.
No!
And actually, Alex Apati, my colleague at Ladbrokes, came out with this quote saying the bet was only 2 years off being able to walk into the betting shop and collect itself. Because it was
That's amazing.
Good
Simon,
line.
we were on a chat earlier on this morning, Jeff and I, and our own theory is that Arsenal will still be favourites to win the title, but we're not sure they should be. Can you enlighten us, please?
I like this, yeah. A lot of debate, actually, funny enough, on social media about whether City or Arsenal should be favourites. Arsenal are still favourites, but it's getting very close. They're 8-11, Manchester City 13-8. And I think, for people who have a flutter, that will know that is very close now, to the point where if Arsenal were to lose a game and City win, it would flip-flop. It really is at that point. And I mean, I'm just, I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm starting to get nervous, I must admit. City starting to get that juggernaut feel. Even Villa playing very well at the moment. And I then looked at the Christmas period we're going to go into, and it's packed full. I think it's 4 Premier League games between now and the FA Cup first round on the 10th of January. So everything could change, couldn't it, guys? And I mean, how are you feeling, even in terms of where we might get to as we get into that kind of January period? Who do you think
before we do, Simon, look, if City are 13-8, Villa are 1 point behind them. What price of Villa?
28-1 Villa.
28-1.
Incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
You've got to say, if you're looking at that, Simon, from the outside, I mean, that's just so wrong in so many counts, isn't it? It really is. I mean, the run they're on, what is it, 10 out of the last 11?
Yeah, incredible.
They've been fabulous. Fabulous. I mean, I was at that, I was lucky enough to be at Villa Park last week, and I've got to tell you, Simon, the roof nearly came off that place when the goal went in, when Diaz goal in the last minute, whatever it was. They are playing with so much confidence, and as Jeff correctly says, Simon, they won that last 3 away games from going behind.
Do you know another interesting thing? Look at the top 4 betting, which in so many ways for these clubs is so important. First of all, Villa want to be in the Champions League next year. Liverpool at 8-15 for a top 4. Chelsea 10-11. And Villa 11-8. So we actually make them third favourites behind Chelsea and Liverpool, even to get a top 4 finish. So, I mean, I know you're shaking your heads, those who can watch YouTube, but we're still being... I suppose it's because of that feeling of... squads with depth, teams with proven record. But, if I was a Villa fan, that 11-8 to be in a top 4 and get to Champions League football would be not unattractive.
Yeah, well, at 28, the one's not too unattractive, to be brutally honest, is it? What about tonight, Sam, and Manchester United against Bournemouth? Bournemouth are going through a bit of a rocky run at the moment. What chance of them causing an upset?
Yeah, well, Man United are 5-2 for a top 4 finish, but they are going well. Haven't lost one of their last 9. Ruben Amorim starting to get a tune out of the side, although they've only drawn, I think, the last 2 home games. But Bournemouth, not one in the last 6, 2 points from 18. They're 3-1 to pull off a shock, 7-2 the draw. And given the form of both sides, I thought 4-5 Manchester United at home seemed quite not an unattractive price, given they seem to be the side going into this fixture in much better shape.
Just a quick one, Simon, on coming off a very, very sad story. What a day at the weekend. I was off and I was watching the racing on the telly. Glenn Gooley won Saturday's big race, and John and his daughter Amy. It was just wonderful. Just the class and the respect that everybody, never mind in the racing world, everybody in the world has for those two. Yeah. It was amazing to see.
Yeah, listen, incredibly bravery really from John and Amy, and they were wonderful. I was watching it. Sadly, I couldn't make Cheltenham, but I was watching it on the telly, and it seemed like a celebration of life rather than a sort of a really sad event. Even though the tragedy that befell them is unimaginable for anybody connected. And I mean, there was a big fundraise which raised over £200,000 on Thursday night. It was an amazing victory for Glenn Gooley with Sean Bowen on board, a complete outsider, out the handicap winning. And it was I think in many ways it was just inspirational to watch the way John and Amy conduct themselves.
Exactly what it was, mate. Well said.
Simon, thanks so much.
Thanks, pal.
Guys.
Have a good week.
And that was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to Coral, 18+, gambleaware.org. I'll tell you what, Coisty, you were off on Saturday. You'd have got a big price against that. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to Spurs. Last time their former defender Ramon Vega was on, he said he didn't think Thomas Frank was the right man to manage Spurs. We'll get his thoughts on it after the Forest loss next.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here to bring the cheer for all the festive football. 18+, gambleaware.org.
When you think about famous F1 circuits, the likes of Silverstone, Monza, Monaco come to mind. One of these is not like the others though. Monaco is just one of a number of street circuits on the calendar, and that number's only set to rise. There's a clear difference between a traditional circuit and a street circuit. One is a purpose-built facility on private land, the other is, as it sounds, a race through the streets of a major city. Monaco is the famous example, twisting and turning through the streets of the Principality with iconic backgrounds and, let's be honest, not a lot of overtaking. But from 2026, there'll be a record 10 street circuits on the calendar. It proves that cash remains king. Each track promoter gives F1 between $20 and $60 million just for the rights to host an F1 race. And when Saudi Arabia pays upwards of $100 million, you can see why it's an attractive prospect for the sport. But is it all positive? Well, the drivers aren't that bothered. If you ask a majority of them, they'll tell you historic circuits at Silverstone, Spa, Monza, Zandvoort, they're the favourites. For the sports organisers, though, it kind of makes sense. In 2025, Monaco had a record 2.3 million strong viewership in the US alone. Meanwhile, for the British Grand Prix several weeks later, 1.5 million tuned in. So while these races may not be rip-roaring, all-out action, thrill rides we want as race fans, people are tuning in even more, and bosses can demand even more cash.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and the Arnold Clark app. Everything for your car all in one place. Download it today. Now, yesterday saw another big step back for Thomas Frank and Spurs.
It's finished Forest 3, Spurs 0. Forest continuing their momentum under Sean Dyche, a sixth win in 8 in all competitions. A goal in each half from Callum Hudson-Odoi set them on their way. Sangare walloped in Forest third with 12 to play, a beauty from 20 yards, but a desperately poor performance for Spurs. Just 3 wins in 11 in all competitions, who remain in the bottom half of the table. Forest 3, Tottenham 0.
Just a quick word on Forest, because we sort of almost disregarded their achievement. And 6 wins in 8 in all competitions. I think people thought that Sean Dyche would be able to give them an uplift, but what an uplift.
That's what he does. That's what Sean Dyche does. I mean, I think sometimes we got a little bit blinkered. I compare Sean Dyche to Moisey as well, another one. I think they're just 2 excellent coaches, excellent managers. They know the league, they know the players, and sometimes I just think, for whatever reason, they go under the radar a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean Dyche was just exactly what the doctor ordered for Forest.
Yeah. I've got a tweet from West Sussex Spurs, who says, as a Spurs season ticket holder, we expect 100% effort, then go from there. Yep. The team has no spine. We have enough talent, but do we have a goalkeeper you can trust? We need 3 more Romero characters. And he goes on to say the January transfer window is massive for Spurs. 1, because there is now no Daniel Levy apparently holding us back. And 2, we need to spend money on 1 quality player, a player that will change the team. Don't add a £40 million mediocre player. Well, of course, Thomas Frank, Spurs' 6th manager in as many years, he was asked after the Forest thumping whether he will get the time required to turn the club around.
I can't see why not. I think it's pretty evident that if no one gets the time, no one can turn this around. This is not a quick fix.
Joining us live right now is the 1999 League Cup winner with Spurs, Ramon Vega. Morning, Ramon.
Morning, Ramon.
Good morning, both of you.
So, Ramon, what do you make of the latest performance? 3-0 at Forest.
Well, first of all, let me just wish you Merry Christmas, both of you and all the British media, first of all, because we don't know if we're going to come back again before Christmas. Well, you never know the way it goes at Spurs. We might be back on the radio. I think, let me just first start where the football kind of pyramid start point of view. Already started with the FIFA point of view, with the ticket pricing, which is absolutely a disaster, outrageous. To actually taking the fan to that level. It's not a people's game anymore. It's been an elite game. People who just want to have champagne in a stadium. And the ones who really make the atmosphere for years and years and years, saving their money, they're not even good. It starts to be there already. Hence, the Premier League goes to the second level the same. At Spurs, no different, to be honest with you, because they're paying a hell of a lot of money. And that's where the connection between the fans and the club, and also the football side point of view, is not there anymore. And that's why where this atmosphere, this booing going around at Spurs, at the stadium, leave it alone, as it was a bad kind of game against Forest. I think Forest deserved to win. They played absolutely wonderful. Van saying Spurs was not at all on the pitch. I was sitting next to one yesterday asking me, are these guys the lower league from England? And I say, no, that's Spurs. And he was so surprised because they were the European Cup league winners. So can you imagine what kind of image Spurs has at this point? That's not from the fan point of view, from the football point of view, from the expertise point of view, from the managed point of view, and for the players who has to join this club. That's where it started. That's where Spurs made the huge mistake for years and years. And they're paying that massively now. But the ones most paying for them now is the Spurs supporters, week in, week out, absolutely having a disaster games to watch. And frankly saying, I told you already, predictably about Frank. I'm not sure about this guy. Best thing to do for him, should be resigning, because that's not what he should do. Time. What kind of time you have in the Premier League? We are talking Tottenham Hotspurs here. It's a big club in terms of England. You need instant success. You don't have time, 3 years, 4 years. So it's a question also, what kind of time he's been giving his 20 years Spurs? What did they done in the 20 years within the recruitment side point of view? All these managers that were there as well, they also had nothing kind of really put on the table. The only one where everybody was scrutinizing was Ange. He brought a trophy, and he's not even giving a chance on the second year to actually prove, okay, now he has a full squad, like this year. Thomas has a full squad. Not as much injury like last year, Angie. We are pretty much better off now, from better off last year than now, in terms of points. So that's where the problem is. Fundamentally, recruitment point of view within the club is for years neglected, and any match that comes into it, frankly saying, will have a difficult to even to build something. Now, question is, who's going to potentially be good for this? I have a suggestion. Robbie Keane, we're pretty much now the Irish boy in Ferencváros. He's done very well. Just beat Rangers as well. By the way, of an ex-Celtic. So he will be a good one. He's a DNA kind of ex-player, but he knows the psychological side point of the dressing room. What is missing with me here at Thomas? I don't see he inspires these players at the dressing room. I don't see inspiration. I don't see this connection. I don't see this respect, that the respect the manager gets when you show that by the body language on the football pitch. That's where a Premier League manager needs to work most of it. As I told you already a few weeks ago, everybody was talking about the tactic master. What tactic master? I have not seen no project in terms of that. I don't see any kind of tactics there. That's the wrong part at Spurs. With these young players, you need inspiration. They're already there at the Premier League. They're already technically well. That is the mindset, how they have to be on the football pitch. And that's what Thomas lacked from my point of view, because I don't see that week in, week out. And that's to win. You need that mentality.
Ramon, tell me, mate. Now, I was talking to Robbie on Thursday night in Budapest, and he is doing a fantastic job. There's no doubt about it. And I think it's only a matter of time before he's back home with a big job, right? I really do. I think he's doing terrific. However, my question to you, Ramon, would be this: What's Robbie Keane going to have to do? Well, just say, for example, he's a Spurs manager. What's he going to have to do, or what is he capable of doing differently that Mourinho, Conte, Poch couldn't do?
Well, listen, I want to say that he's going to be the super kind of solution, we call it, of course. But the one thing he would definitely bring into it, he was
Ramon, we're losing the line, mate. So, look, thank you very much, Ramon. Have a great Christmas. I don't think there's much chance of snow where you are, just looking at those pictures. But really appreciate your time.
But you see my point?
Yeah.
My point is this.
Exactly.
Right. Robbie Keane, who... great lad and doing a brilliant
deserves an opportunity.
100% deserves an opportunity. I had a wee chat with him very briefly on Thursday, but I'm not sure what he's capable of at Tottenham with that squad of players that's going to alter things dramatically. That's my point.
No, I agree. It's caused a lot of reaction on the text. Abby, who's a Manchester United fan, says Thomas Frank is out of his depth with Spurs. Too big a challenge. He'll get the push by Christmas. Cue Brendan Rodgers arriving at the scene, which is not the daftest of suggestions. Fraser says, morning boys, I'm a season ticket holder at Forest. To me yesterday it looked a lot like the Spurs players had down tools and weren't playing for Frank at all. And Jason, who's a Donny Rovers fan, says you're going on as if Spurs should have been entitled to win away. They're not a big club, mediocre at best. They got what they came for, a free scarf and a standard Forest beating up the trees. Frank needs time at Spurs, at least 2 transfer windows. The team he inherited is very poor, full of average players, which is pretty much what you were hinting at, isn't
that's
it?
what I think. That's what I genuinely think.
Are we overrating these Spurs players? Because we look through that team and we say, got good wing backs, good defenders, good central defenders. We've got great midfield. Something's not right.
Very limited up front at the moment. This moment in time, very limited up front. I think that's a big thing. Yeah. You know, I also think we've got to say, and I only saw extended highlights, but I spoke to a couple of the Forest lads. They were terrific yesterday, as good as a performance that they've put in a long time, Forest. So you've got to take that into account. But you look at the goals they lost straight away. I mean, they're cutting their own throat with the first goal. We mentioned it, you and I, discussing it with the goalkeeper and Archie Gray, you know. And when you're doing things like that, you know, and things are up against you at the best of times, but then we'll look back. I mean, has this, the way Tottenham are just now, Jeff, right, with Thomas Frank, I'd be interested to know from Tottenham fans, does it alter their opinion at all on Ange, on winning that Europa League, on a really poor season in the league, really poor?
Yeah.
But does it alter their opinion winning a European League trophy?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, interesting. And I'm sure it does. I'm sure they view it in a very different way. But, you know, they cannot keep changing managers. For me, Thomas Frank, they've just got to stick with him. They've just got to stick with him for the time being. And I mean, for goodness sake, you know, at least let him have the January transfer window and say where we go 100%. After that. Baz in Oxford says, by the way, refreshing to hear Ramon say it's not a people's game anymore. Now it's all about champagne and money. Thank goodness we have non-league football, mugs of tea, cheap tickets and no VAR.
I enjoyed myself last week. I was at Brackley Button.
Oh, were you? Yeah.
Oh, I enjoyed it. Proper old school, you know, great community club atmosphere. Yeah. I loved it, Jeff.
Yeah,
loved it.
Not so very far away from me is Brackley, but it's a good win for Burton in the end, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, good hat.
Okay, let's look ahead to the next hour of the show with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
Up next, we'll be speaking to the oldest man ever to win at the Ali Pally, older even than me. Paul Lim will be explaining exactly how different darts is today when he first started. We'll speak to the Celtic legend Charlie Mulgrew as to whether the writing's on the wall for Wilfred Nancy, and we'll also hear from Ruben Amorim, who says he hasn't been good enough as United manager ahead of their game against Bournemouth, which of course is live on talkSPORT tonight. And that was our look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. What do we know this Monday morning? England have made one change for the third Ashes test. Josh Tongue comes in to replace fellow fast bowler Gus Atkinson. Wayne Rooney fears for Enzo Maresca after his outburst against the board at the weekend. Rooney says, "You've got to respect the owners of a football club. They employ you and bring you in, so it's their way." And I feel he's gone a bit against that. I wonder if he feels that way about the Plymouth Argyle owners. And after defeat to Villa yesterday, it's no win in 5 for Nuno and West Ham, which has seen them slip 3 points adrift of safety. The Hammers boss afterwards revealed his frustration.
Everybody, we are really sad and disappointed because it was a good performance, not a perfect performance, but a game that we are ahead in the score. It's up to us to manage better and try to close the game down instead of going to the second half and immediately conceding, so it becomes harder. Yeah, the results keep getting away from us. We are allowing leads to go away. And this is a major problem that we have. I felt honestly that the boys were okay. The team was competing well, was organized. It's up to us to try and find with the players that we have the solutions to improve.
Yeah, and no win in 5, that sounds pretty grim. 3 points adrift equally sounds grim. But do you see glimmers of promise from West Ham? They are at least scoring a goal or two these days.
Actually. I do. I think they'll have enough. I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and say that. I think the bottom two, like I thought all season, will struggle. I think it's one from about 4 or 5. But I just think, when you're in that position, you've got to have somebody to score you goals. You've got to have somebody who can do a little bit different to keep you in the division. And I think they've got that, particularly with Jared Bowen.
Yeah, I would love to see them starting Callum Wilson. Because to me, when he comes on, he changes game after game, and I can only assume they're trying to manage his minutes.
You would think so. I actually like the two of them together, Bowen and Wilson.
Exactly.
I think you can see them in the limited time that they have been together. They've got something. Both intelligent players, work off each other, and as I say, but it's definitely worrying times for the Irons. But I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, one of the issues I think is we've been through it a million times. It's playing at that stadium.
Yeah.
When things aren't going well, then there are always issues there. But I think they've shown enough in the last few weeks that they've got a fighting chance. Andy, who's a Man United fan, says Spurs are very thinly spread. They no longer have a talisman captain like Son or Kane. No bottle, no ambition. I don't even think Pep could make this squad winners. They're going backwards. I can see Robbie Keane coming in as a temporary replacement, and then Poch after the World Cup, I don't think Robbie Keane would come as a temporary
No
replacement.
chance Robbie's coming as a temporary.
No.
chance.
Managers are never given the time they were years ago. It's not fair. However, you can't manage personalities and attitude in this age of social media.
But that's the thing. That is one of the most important parts of the job now. We like it or lump it, but you have to manage different personalities, and social media play a massive part in people's views, because everybody has always had an opinion, Jeff, but because of social media, we're now hearing everybody's opinion, whether we like it or not. I mean, you can say it's a good thing, it might not be a great thing, but that's the way it is.
Adam, who's a Brentford fan, says if Spurs don't want Thomas Frank, we'll have him back in an instant. We are woeful under Keith Andrews. Wolves will win at the weekend and we'll be the third team down. All he does is hoofball and has no clue how to manage the game. I think that's really, really harsh, Adam. You see more of them than I do, but I think it's really, really harsh.
Yeah.
I mean, their home form, okay, they dropped a couple of points. Their home form's been brilliant.
I mean, I saw them absolutely batter Liverpool.
Yeah.
Honestly. They were really, really good. And I take his point. A lot of it was direct football, long throws, free kicks into box, set plays. Hey, you got to win games of football.
Yeah, and everybody else is doing it as well. So, look, we are hoping to get on Paul Lim, but it's just having a few technical difficulties at the moment. Now, a few of England's top number 10s were on target over the weekend.
Goal for Chelsea, who opened the scoring and take the lead. Scott Minto and Alex Brook. Chelsea 1, Everton 0. He got 4 goals against them a couple of seasons ago, and he scored again this afternoon. Cole Palmer with the ice-cold finish.
And it's Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 2. Phil Foden has got the second for Manchester City, the man in form.
10 minutes to go, West Ham United 2, Aston Villa 3. Rodgers with his second of the game, moved forward 5 or 6 yards, no one closing him down for West Ham, opened up his body and knuckleballed it towards goal. It was moving, it was dipping, it wasn't quite in the corner, but it outfoxed Areola and flew into the net.
Well, you've got to look ahead at the World Cup, and Thomas Tuchel has got... well, he's in a great position in some ways, but would you want to make the choice as who plays number 10 for England?
Yes.
You would?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I would. I tell you right now, Jeff. Before we get the Kleenex tissues out, everybody starts weeping uncontrollably. You're better having a problem with 3 or 4 players than having no players.
Yeah.
Right, that's the first thing you've got to say. And they've never had an abundance of talent in that position. Well, I can't remember, and you and I go back more than most. He's got what he's got. You can call it a dilemma, a lovely problem. But it's it is a nice option to have. They've got incredibly talented players in that 10. At this moment in time, Rodgers is fantastic, right? You've also got the options of Bellingham. You get Cole Palmer coming back. I think Foden's better in that position than he is from a wider position. Eze would be one would come into the equation as well, because do you know something? See the way I look at it. They've got so many players in that position. You're actually Saka and the wider players, Anthony Gordon, have probably got a better chance. Well, they have. Saka will probably definitely start. But you're actually better playing in the wide in a 3 than you are as a number 10.
So where do you stand right now?
Rodgers.
Morgan Rodgers. Yeah.
That's where I stand right now. Right at this moment in time. Palmer's just back from injury. Obviously, did well at the weekend. Scores again at the weekend. Phil Foden has absolutely found his form again, and
not if you believe Pep, of course.
He sees him. I'm only looking at it, looking at his contribution, looking at his goals. I think he's found his form again. But the biggest one, probably the biggest danger to Rodgers, and I know we're 6 months away, would be Bellingham, who I saw last week in the Bernabeu, and his performance was kind of synonymous with Real Madrid's. They're just lacking at this moment in time.
Yeah,
but he has quality, and I know there's rumours going about, with the camp and all that stuff, and Tuchel will take that into account. Tuchel will absolutely, because there's nothing will stand in Thomas Tuchel's way of him getting his best team out. Nothing will stand in his way, and if that means putting a few noses out of joint, he will do it. I had the delight, and it was a delight, of talking to him a couple of times over at the Draw over in Washington, Jeff, and I really like him. I think he's a breath of fresh air. I think he's a great communicator. He talks really well. He's an impressive character, and I just get the impression, and it might be a little bit, I don't know whether it is, it might be a little bit the fact that he's not English, that he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's 100% focused on his job of getting to England as far as they can, potentially winning with that squad the World Cup, and he will not care whether he goes down a route that upsets people, whether it players, upsets maybe one or two fans with the selection, upsets the media, which is probably, along with vast amounts of England coaches, might be the biggest problem they've faced, but he'll do his own thing.
Whoever he picks at 10, I can tell you what, he's going to upset a lot of people. Of
course he is.
Because all of those...
Who would you start with this moment?
Morgan Rogers. Yeah, for me, for sure. Just touching on West Ham a moment or two ago, or whether they would stay up. Steve the Hammer says, we need a defence under blood a few of our brilliant under-21 team. In Nuno we trust, just, he says. Thank you, Steve. Coming up, we find out just how big the party was in Sunderland last night with a legend of the Stadium of Light. Kevin Phillips is with us next.
Fancied having a beer in the stands while watching your team at the Emirates? Well, this season you actually can, and not just there. You can do it at Anfield, Goodison Park, Stamford Bridge and Old Trafford too. But hold on, I hear you cry. Isn't drinking alcohol in the stands at Premier League games illegal? You're right, for the men's game it still is, but the Women's Super League is doing something different, and here's how we got there. Back in the 1980s, football had a serious image problem. The sport was plagued by violence, pitch invasions and beer-fuelled chaos. From fan riots at the 1980 Scottish Cup final to the Heysel disaster years later, things were unsafe and the consequences were disastrous. Then in 1985, Margaret Thatcher's government stepped in. They introduced the Sporting Events Control of Alcohol Act, banning alcohol in view of the pitch across England and Wales. Since then, many fans and clubs have called for the law to be relaxed. especially since other sports don't face the same restrictions. If you're popping down to watch the Red Roses roar at Twickenham, feel free to grab a pint on the way to your seat. Wandering down to Lords to catch some boundary bashing? Fill your boots with G&Ts. But if you were hoping to cheers your club's promotion to the Premier League with a Prosecco in hand from pitchside, sorry, it'll have to be tea or Bovril. In 2021, it looked like things might finally change. The government commissioned the Crouch Report, a fan-led review into football governance. One recommendation was to allow League Two and National League clubs to lift the alcohol ban to boost matchday revenue. But nothing came of it. Authorities still weren't convinced that fans could be trusted. And then in January 2025, something did change. The Women's Championship, now called the WSL2, launched a trial allowing fans to drink in the stands. The reasoning? Well, fans at women's matches tend to behave differently. Less aggression, more family-friendly vibes. Now, the women's game is raising the bar, literally. Select WSL and WSL2 stadiums are allowing fans to drink alcohol in view of the pitch. It's been a landmark move, showing growing trust in fans and recognising that women's football is building its own culture. So could the men's game be the next to leave the 1980s behind? Well, maybe, if fans can prove they can handle a pint without pitching it at someone. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Until then, it's Bovril all around. Cheers to that.
Good morning, 6 minutes past 9 o'clock. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Ally McCoist and our friends at Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. Now, Sunderland enjoyed their best day of the season yet, and there's been a lot to celebrate so far.
As first days of the season go, this is the perfect one. It's finished at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 3, West Ham 0.
The whole concept of what they're doing at the moment, the way they play as a team, how they work as hard as they do as a team, individually and collectively, is amazing.
Sunderland going to win it. Oh my goodness, Sunderland are going to win it here at Stamford Bridge. Alex Crook.
What an incredible finish to this game. It is Chelsea 1, Sunderland 2. Shamsdean Talby.
You know, it's great to have the derby, great to have it, and it'll be great to put the double on them. And as Trip says, it's great for them to be promoted, but it'll be great to see them go back down as well.
And there it is. Listen to that roar. It's finished at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 1, Newcastle 0, and Nick Voltemade own goal on 46 minutes.
We are proud and happy after this game because it was a bit more than a single game today. It was a derby.
Brilliant for Sunderland. 10 league derbies against the old enemy without defeat, stretching back to August 2011. Joining us now. Yeah, it is. It's a phenomenal run.
It's unbelievable.
Joining us now. I'd love to know how he's feeling this morning. Sunderland's all-time leading Premier League scorer, Kevin Phillips. Morning, Kev.
Morning, Kev.
Morning, gents. The head's a little bit sore this morning.
Understandably, mate. We saw you yesterday, and just like everybody else, mate, you must have enjoyed it. I mean, Jeff and I were saying, Kev, the atmosphere, and it was a proper derby, a proper, a game between
honestly,
two sides.
Guys, just when I thought things couldn't get any better at the Stadium of Light at the moment, and it did yesterday, everybody wants to win the local derby, and the derby up here, the fans have been talking about it since they got promoted to the Premier League. That's what it means to them, and they couldn't wait for it to come around. And And to be going into the game, not only in form, but, having not been beaten at home, or lost at home, should I say, they're in an incredible position. So to top it off, to beat them yesterday, yeah, we all know it wasn't a classic game, but it was a derby. You don't want to lose your derby. And, when you watch the game, it was almost like, Sunderland knew it was a derby. And I think Newcastle, have been questioned whether they realised it was a local derby because they didn't turn up. But I give all the credit to Sunderland for doing that, because they came out the blocks. They started the game really, really well. Controlled the game, didn't really create an awful lot, but never looked in danger. Newcastle probably had a 5-10 minute spell where they controlled it a little bit, but then Sunderland took over again. So, it was an amazing day. The atmosphere, honestly, it's getting better and better in that stadium. And Eve, I was standing next to Peter Schmeichel, Freddie Lundberg, and Jaap Stam. They were working next to us, and they said afterwards, they played in some big games in their career, and they said that was right up there, at the very top of the noises that they've heard in the ground. So credit to the fans.
Yeah. Look, it's been a brilliant season. A lot of people deserve praise. But you know what? Whoever is responsible for recruitment at Sunderland deserves the freedom of the city.
Oh, yeah, all day long, and I can't stress enough. I always say it whenever I talk to, guys like you. It's, if it wasn't for the owner and the people around him for, doing what they've done since they've been at the football club, Sunderland wouldn't be where they are, So they've invested. And I said before, not just in the pitch, but on the stadium, in the surrounding area. It's just an amazing place to be at the minute. So, yeah, I think, to bring Reggie Labrie at the club at a time when nobody knew who he was. I know Dave Jones had a very big hand in bringing him to the football club and convincing him to come. There was a lot of people that, thought it was a crazy decision, but, you look back now and it was the best decision they could have made. So, it's everyone was waiting for that bubble to burst, weren't they? And, I'm telling you now, from what I've seen so far this season, that bubble isn't going to burst. Yes, they lose 6 players as of today to the AFCON, some influential players. So, it will be a test for them, but, I'm sure that Sunderland have got players lined up in the January window early to bring them in to strengthen the squad when they lose these players.
Kev, it was interesting because I was at the Cup game, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And there was definitely a gulf between the sides, definitely a gulf between the sides that day. But I knew probably yourself, I was full of anticipation for the game yesterday because I knew, boy, did I know that the sides had become closer. But the way Sunderland went about it in terms of, I mean, like in a derby game, you have to show a level of commitment and you have to win your second balls. And that was as good a performance in that respect of their game that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, 100%. We were speaking about it on air before the game. You just, with it being such a very young squad, none of them have tasted a North East derby. You was wondering whether any of them were going to freeze, not turn up. But again, I'm not going to say they overperformed, but they just outperformed Sunderland. They out-battled, Newcastle. They out-battled them. In every department they were better, and it looked like they wanted the game more. And they know what it means to the fans. They've waited a long time. They've had their ups, they've had their downs. 4 years in League One and promotion last year when it wasn't expected. So to go into the derby with all that behind you, it's the one the fans wanted, and it was almost like they were sucking the ball in the net yesterday. So it's a great win, and those players now will go down in folklore, that's for sure.
Yeah, you sort of touched on it in a way. One of the most amazing things to me, Kev, is that, these players are drawn from all over the world, and yet afterwards they post the iconic photo in front of their fans. You saw them all belting out, "I can't help falling in love." They get it. I mean, they just get it, even though they're from all corners of the globe.
Yeah, and I just think that's like they're living in the North East. They don't stop talking about the derby. I think they've already, the people who phoned in earlier, they're already talking about the rematch. We'd love to do the double over. And I don't think that's till March. So there's plenty of football to be played before then. But yeah, you're right. They get it. We interviewed Siddiqui afterwards, and blimey, he's a young kid. He's still got a brace in. He just looked like he should be going to school today. But wow, what a player! And we asked him the question. He said, "We just get it. We realised that we couldn't lose today, and that was the mentality of the players." And again, it goes back to the coaching staff, the manager. They get it as well. And it was a game that they just couldn't afford to lose. So, you know, as much as you want to say Newcastle played bad, I give all the credit to Sunderland because of the way they turned up and performed. Yes, they got luck with the goal, but they deserved that. And, you know, I asked young Sadiq if he was going to go out and celebrate last night, and he was like, no, I'll be at home watching TV. So good lad, professional. Back in the day, we'd have been out, Ali, wouldn't we? Straight
not half.
We'd still be out now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen, I hope you're right. I'm a little bit more concerned than you sound about losing the players for AFCON, but I think we'll be okay, mate.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Hey, Kev, hope the head improves. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Take care, mate. Great to see you.
Have a good show.
Oh, love it. I just looked through that team again, you know. I mentioned the goalkeeper, then the centre-halves. Ballard and Alderete.
Get right through it.
Yeah. Xhaka in midfield everywhere.
Spine. Goalkeeper, Ballard.
The flair of
Xhaka.
Lafay, yeah.
Robbie, Ishidon. The spine of the team.
Brilliant, yeah. Love it, I love it. Newcastle fans must hate it. Oh, you've probably all turned off by now anyway. Right, coming up, we'll turn our attention back to the situation at Celtic and whether the writing could already be on the wall for Wilfried Nancy. morning, talkSPORT Breakfast. Me, Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist. And you're wondering why we're playing this? Well, the last people you'd expect to be having good times is the England cricket team. But despite being 2-0 down in the Ashes in double quick time, according to Harry Brook, they've had a lovely break in Noosa between the second and third tests.
To be honest, we tried to stay away from cricket as much as possible. We just wanted to go there and have a good time, and yeah, we had a belting time, and it was probably came at the right time when we're 2-0 down. I know most people won't think that, but to get away from the game and try and refresh as much as possible after a tough start to the series, hopefully that can help us leading into this game.
Well, they want to try and stay away from cricket for as long as possible. Made a good effort at that because the first test lasted 2 days, so that was 3 more days they could stay completely away from cricket. But a belting time. We've had a belting time. I mean, there is tone deaf and tone deaf.
Harry. Stay away. We want to stay away from the cricket. You've had about 3 minutes 48 seconds at the crease, mate. Right? So come on. I mean, who's the press officer? What's happened?
Well, I think he's the future former press officer. Let's be honest.
What has happened there? I mean, what has absolutely happened there? I mean, that's alongside the press officer at Liverpool standing behind Mo Salah when he came out with that quote. It just absolutely threw his head in his hands.
Right, Harry, go and prove the point.
Correct.
You and the rest of the lads come out, win the third test match,
and have a belting time at the crease.
Yeah, and then you can go off and have another couple of days in Noosa or wherever you want, and we won't mind then. Goodness me. We talked about recruitment at Sunderland. Recruitment for Sunderland for the past 4 years was the head of recruitment was Stuart Harvey, who unbelievably left just as the season started. He was brought in from Blackburn Rovers. He left in October.
Do we know why he left?
Well, it says was by mutual agreement and following discussions throughout recent months. But you have to look and say that they have recruited Florent Gisolfi as director of football, who'd previously worked with Reggie Lebris at Lorient when he was assistant manager.
So he's obviously brought his own man in.
Yeah, I can understand that. I don't know where Stuart Harvey is now, but I'll tell you what.
Outside looking in, what he's done.
What a job he appears to have done. He must have been responsible for the squadron of signings that they've brought in, virtually all who've been successful. And if he's out there and on the job market at the moment, he'll be in demand, that is for sure. Right, let's stay with football. Wilfred Nancy has become the first Celtic manager ever to lose their first 3 games in charge after defeat to St Mirren in the Scottish Cup final. Here is Nancy on how he's feeling since taking over at Celtic.
It's painful, obviously, for me, but I don't mind about me. This is painful more for the player, but I know we can do it, especially tonight. But again, I want more belief, not on what I do, on what they can do. And this is this little gap that I try to help them because I know that I can do it. I am with them. And obviously, I'm not... the reality is, yes, I just came in. The result was good before. The players, obviously, they can questioning a bit the situation. It's totally normal. But again, my job is to find facts that we do well. And again, I want to help them regarding that. Me, this is not a problem. This is not the situation. The situation is more for them and myself to help them to connect and to believe more on what they can do individually. This is my point.
OK, let's get more on this with a man who knew just how to get his hands on major trophies with Celtic. It's Charlie Mulgrew. Morning, Charlie.
Morning, Charlie.
Morning, Ali. Morning, Jeff.
Hey, Charlie, do you feel some sympathy with the manager?
Yeah, that's my overriding feeling. I feel really sorry for him when that first goal goes in yesterday. It's the last thing he needed. It's been a real difficult week for him to come in to play against Hearts. Obviously, a lot of pressure on Celtic after how well Martin O'Neill did, and then to go and play Hearts, and I think that's actually the best 30 minutes that Nancy's had. The first 30 minutes against Hearts, I thought Celtic were brilliant, and then they concede a goal against the run of play, and then they go and play again, and then end up losing the game, and then go and play against a really good Roma side who Gasperini, who's a really high press, man-for-man managers, won the Europa League with Atalanta, playing that style. Celtic try and play out there, come up against a real good Italian team, lose that game comfortably, completely outplayed. And then they go into the St Mirren game, a cup final, and lose an early goal like that, I felt really sorry for him watching him on the sideline. Celtic then worked their way back into the game, but I just feel that there's just something not right there. There's a complete disconnect in the club and even the atmosphere in the stadium, everything. You just felt that if St Mirren had got their noses in front after Celtic equalised, you just thought there was no way back. Celtic just the players looked like they had too much information, and that made them look unfit and made them look like they were questioning themselves tactically. They didn't look like they understood what they were asked, and it was a real disappointing day.
Charlie, you mentioned the disconnect at the club. I'm looking at the AGM, which was a shambles, absolute shambles. They had to cut it short early, people shouting and all that stuff, bored, not getting any time to speak, all that kind of stuff. So you're right, there's a real disconnect. So if there's a real disconnect, why on earth would you change a manager that's won 7 out of 8 and knows the club as well as MD? Now, I call him a safe pair of hands because that's exactly what he is. He's far better than a safe pair of hands, but at that particular time, the one thing you do need is a safe pair of hands. Martin's far better. Of course, he's miles better than a safe pair of hands. So why, and this isn't after the event, Charlie, I said it right at the start, why would you take the chance of changing your coach at that time?
That's a really interesting point, Ali. I would just like to know when the actual contact was made with Nancy and when they decided that he was going to be the man and when they started sort of negotiate with him, because Martin O'Neill started really well. I don't know if a lot of people expected it. I know Martin O'Neill's a good manager and a good man manager. I just wasn't sure how that was going to work with Sean Maloney and everything, and it went. It went really well. I mean, it really surprised me how well the players responded and how really good they were. Every passing game, Celtic were winning and looking good, apart from the Michelin game.
Yeah.
Everything was looking really good. Then, the longer it went, the more pressure the new manager was going to be under. And then, of course, they get the win away to Feyenoord, and you're thinking, the new manager's going to come in, and he's right up against it straight away. So, yeah, I don't know when that was decided, but once they've decided to bring in the manager in, I don't think you can then go back in that. But I think maybe there could have been a bit more patience shown and maybe looked at Martin O'Neill and thought, right, well, let's give him a chance. When's his first? Usually when team managers, if they win 3 or 4 games in a row, usually that's a shoe-in for them to get the job.
Yeah.
So I wonder why it was different for Martin O'Neill. I wonder why, because he did say he would have took the job. I just don't know how. I think it's probably when they made contact with Nancy and when that was decided and when they were convinced he was the man to come in. I feel for Nancy because he's following a guy like Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney and Mark Thornlingham and the rest of the staff who've done an amazing job to lift that team from how they were playing and the confidence. You can see they were draining the confidence. He brought that confidence back, and now Nancy has to follow that act. And he's come in a week where, I mean, when you mentioned the games, he played Hearts at home, probably toughest game in Scotland at the moment. He's then had Roma in the Europa League at home against us at Celtic Park, and then you go and play a cup final. So it's a really hard week, and for players to believe and trust in a manager and have confidence in a manager, you need to win games, and they start with 3 defeats in a row. I just don't know if there's any way back. It really felt like. Really felt a complete I mean, the disconnect with the board and the fans and the players is been there even when Martin O'Neill was there, but at least the connection between the players and the manager you could see was there and the staff. Now that's disconnected. It's just a complete disconnect everywhere, and it really needs to change quickly.
How long has he got, do you think, Charlie?
Jeff, I think he's been in the door 10 days, so it seems really, really harsh, but a lot's happened in that 10 days, and I don't know. I don't see how it's going to change quickly for him, because of course I know football and I know you win the next game and things can change quickly with a few wins in a row. I don't see wins coming. I just can't. After that yesterday, I do not see where wins are coming from, because it's that disconnected. The feeling you get standing there in the plinth just behind the dugout watching the game, because I was doing the TV for the game. It's just a feeling that you can't describe. There's just a disconnect between everybody. You can feel on the pitch, you can clearly see it. Players look tired. I know it was a third game in a week, but I think when you're overloaded with information like that, everything just seems in much more of an effort. Nothing's flowing. I think there was a 20-minute spell where Celtic looked on it and the fans responded to that and everything felt good. And then that was it. It went flat again. And
Charlie, I've got to come in, mate, because there'll be people in Paisley flinging radios right out their window because we have failed to mention Stevie Robinson and St Mirren, by the way, who are amazing, mate. Take the floor, on you go.
They were absolutely brilliant yesterday, and it was a complete contrast to Celtic. Every single player, every single staff member knew exactly who they were as a team and what they bring to the pitch and how they press and what they are with their two big lads up front, Younga and Mandron, who come on. They know exactly what their job is. They play on the counter attack, and they know exactly who they are. And it was a complete contrast to Celtic. So fair play to Stevie Robinson. I was absolutely delighted for him as a person, and you see his families and that involved. And you can see when everybody's connected what can happen, and when a team are really playing for each other, which was the complete opposite to Celtic.
Charlie, we've got to go to the news. If you're Tony Bloom, do you go and spend a few quid in January?
I think they've got to. I think if Hearts are going to have any, I mean, I've clearly said Hearts will no chance of winning the league. I think this is the first point in the season where I sit here and I think, oh no, this is the most I've kind of started to worry. So Hearts, if they're going to do it,
Charlie, you don't need to go any further after you said, oh no.
Charlie, you saying oh no, do for me, mate.
Charlie, brilliant. Thanks, mate.
See you soon, mate.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Just one quick text. John has texted. He said, look, Jeff and Ali, being a Wolves fan has put me in a real downer. But hearing Harry Brook has had a belting time, that's cheered me right up. Coming up, Ruben Amorim has made some interesting comments once again ahead of United against Bournemouth, live on talkSPORT tonight. This time he's admitted he hasn't been good enough. We'll discuss that next.
Kitman, one of the most important cogs in a football club's machine. But it's not just laundry and hanging up shirts in dressing rooms. Oh no, it's hours of dedication and a real love of the game. Every club does it slightly differently, but ultimately the kitman's the guy washing the training gear, repairing holes, cleaning boots, and that's before they even think about the match day. The day before a home game, a kitman will already be at the stadium making sure the kit is ready to be laid out, and if anything needs doing in terms of printing, stitching, cleaning, it gets done. On the day, the kitmen are almost the first ones there in the morning. They're unloading kit from the training ground, medical bags, anything else a player or a coach may need between their arrival and full time. Once things are in full swing, they actually help with the warm-up too. When the whistle goes and the match kicks off, it's the one time a kitman can put his feet up. At full time, if they're at home, it's easy. All the kit goes in the washing machines, dries and is ready for use within the next 24 hours. Away from home, it's a different story though. If you're a kitman for Spurs, for example, you can't exactly use the machines at St James's Park. So it's back into the van, or onto the chartered flight, back to the training ground, wash everything there, and be ready to go again for the next game. Some might have to go to Europe a day later, so the pressure is definitely on. Working for a football club might look glamorous on the face of it, but we salute those who dedicate their lives to scraping mud off boots and washing a millionaire's underpants.
Good morning, 9:36. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with the Arnold Clark app. Everything for your car, all in one place. Download it today. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with us. So much to come on talkSPORT. You don't really need to go anywhere. When we're done at 10, Martin O'Neill's alongside White and Jordan. Hawksby and Jacobs back from 1 till 4. Then it's over to Drive with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent. Does Benty think that Arsenal can win a 3-horse title race? If you're looking for some Monday laughs, don't forget to check out the 21 Minutes to Go podcast with Goldstein and Cundy. And, of course, Manchester United Mondays continue from 7 with live and exclusive commentary of their home clash with Bournemouth.
And Bruno Fernandes rubs salt into the Wolves' wounds. It's 4-1 to Manchester United now.
Still looking like a team that you can find a way beyond and get through and create chances against.
I think they are not thinking we are going to top 5. No. I think it's some moments we are good, sometimes we play bad.
Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. Bournemouth's winless run continues.
I love to play in Old Trafford to coach. Also, I think we are playing this season against a team that is in a really good run.
It's a top team, top manager, with a special player.
Semenyo goes on with a run! What a goal!
I don't look to the results. I look the way they face every opponent.
Man United against Bournemouth live on talkSPORT tonight. The build-up to the game really dominated again by members of the class of 92, usually criticising Amorim. Paul Scholes claiming he's not the right man to lead the club forward. The United boss reacted to those comments.
The problem is that me as a manager, I'm not doing good enough, and that is a fact also, and I can accept that. So that is the only problem for them, is that Manchester United is not winning and is not in the position that's supposed to be.
Right, let's get more from a man who lifted the Premier League 3 times with United. He's on commentary duty for us tonight. It's a very good morning to Steve Bruce. Morning, Brucey.
Morning, Brucey. How are you, mate?
Good morning. Good morning, you both. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good. What do you make of Ruben Amorim saying then he's not doing well enough?
Well, in terms of results, is he admitting that himself, or is he replying to what Scholesy and a few of the other lads have said too? Do you know the one thing about him, Jeff? I think all of us like him, huh? Yeah. And this particular moment is arguably the best time he's had in 12 months. So the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks, we've seen a little, we've seen something. The two boys that they brought in, Cunha and the other one in Buemo, have certainly given them something up top end of the pitch. And we've seen glimpses of them that are a good team. I mean, they were very, very impressive against, I have to say, a very poor Wolves team. So, you know, at this particular moment, they're doing okay. But look, if you're the manager of Manchester United, it's not just good enough to say we want to be in the top 5. You've got to be competing at the very, very top end of the Premier League.
Brucey, where are United at this moment? I mean, we're talking about Tottenham, for example, right? And they're on, get rid of the manager, this, and Thomas Frank has to go. But the fact of the matter is, Tottenham have had some excellent coaches and excellent managers in recent years, right? And you can compare that a little bit to United in the respect that post Sir Alex, they haven't had anything like, nowhere near the success that you boys had under Sir Alex. However, they've clearly had some good managers and good coaches. So where are we in the respect of where are we with the time that coaches and managers should get?
Well, Ali, I think if you ask any top coach that you ever come across, and the one thing they always say, it's all about players.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I mean, it's obscene to be talking about Thomas Frank at this particular moment. How many managers have they had with this group of players they've got? Does the players ever feel accountable to it? I ain't so sure it does anymore, you know. And I think that is the big frustration. I mean, certainly of looking from the outside and looking at the top coaches of this, and you talk about Thomas Frank now not being capable of managing Spurs, which it seems a bit harsh to me because they've had good managers over the years, and the same with United. You know, Mourinho's and Van Gaal's, and I mean, nobody could have predicted that United would not be anywhere near a title race in 10 years. I mean, it's quite unbelievable. I mean, yeah, they've won FA Cups and European Cups along the way, but they've got to be competing at the top end. And maybe you have to look at I think it's all about recruitment and players at the end of the day, and give me a really good group of players, and we all know what we can aspire to manage. Because I don't think Spurs at this particular moment is a squad of players, are they good enough?
No.
Yeah. Steve, just a word on the derby yesterday at the Stadium Light. I tell you what, I was just thinking, when you're watching a game like that, you must love the performances of Dan Ballard and Omar Alderete at the heart of that Sunderland defence.
Oh, they were terrific, wasn't it? The big boy Ballard's been a really, really great success story. You know, he's been through the lower divisions with them, come through and playing in the Premier League. I have to say, I thought Granit Xhaka too was immaculate in his performance. He's arguably been the buy of the season. I mean, we can talk about 21, 22-year-olds from Belgium and France and what have you, and here's somebody who's been there, wore the T-shirt, but still has a bit of pride about him, and his performance and his leadership skills are there for everybody to see. I thought they were terrific. Sunderland and Newcastle at the end of the day didn't really show up, did they? Which is a big disappointment. I'm glad I wasn't in charge of Newcastle yesterday, I have to say that. I wouldn't have been able to go out the streets this morning.
Yeah, brilliant.
Big test for them coming up though, Bruce. You're obviously losing, I think, 4 or 5 to AFCON.
Yeah, big time coming up. Yeah, I mean, look, I think most teams are going to suffer with it. So it's how you adapt to it. We all talk about big squads. Well, you're going to have to use your squad of players and this, that, and the other. So yeah, it's always a difficult time when players could clear off for 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah. Steve, enjoy the game tonight.
Cheers, Brucey.
I'll try my best. Thanks ever so much.
Cheers,
all
mate.
the best.
I just want to squeeze in a quick text. Andy, the Arsenal fan, says, Jeff, I texted in just as Arsenal signed Jokeres saying how I thought he wasn't good enough. You read it out and called me grumpy. He's got some decent minutes in the last few games, but does nothing. My 6-year-old son turned to me after the Villa game and asked why Jokeres didn't touch the ball. Hope we kept the receipt. Andy, thanks for that. I made a note actually today about Jokeres, and you know, you can't help but compare Jokeres on the one hand and Erling Haaland. 4 goals in 14 league games. When does he become a problem for Arsenal, Coisty, or is he already a problem?
I think it's a slight problem. I think the unfortunate thing is, you're right, you can't help. We shouldn't be comparing it because we're comparing probably one of the best centre forwards we've seen in the last 50 years, however it may be, who is absolutely at this moment in time unstoppable at club and international duty. But because he plays in that position and he's more akin to him in a playing style than he is, for example, by the way, I wouldn't be letting Isak away either easily.
No,
because he's got to come into that equation as well. So we're going to mention Gyökeres, we should be mentioning Isak. But the unfortunate thing for Gyökeres, I think he's, as I say, style looks a little bit more Haaland than anything else. We do make the comparison. Clearly there is no comparison at this moment in time. But I just hope there's enough improvement in him to get goals. I'm not sure I'm going to see enough improvement in his general all-round play, because I think that's the way he is. I think he gives you everything he's got. I don't think we can argue about that. I think he's totally committed, but he just needs more goals.
Yeah. One more text, Harry Brook. Jeff and Ali, after spending thousands of pounds to go to Australia at the start of the Ashes, I was very deflated coming back after saving for almost a year. But in light of Harry Brooks saying he's had an absolute belter, I feel quite content I made the right decision to go. Oh, coming up, we'll be joined by the oldest man ever to win at the Ali Pali. Paul Lim is with us next.
What a terrific goal this is. Brentford won, Leeds United won in a match low in quality for much of the afternoon. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scoring, as you say, for the 4th game in a row, has just provided it.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist. Is with me Dominic Calvert-Lewin's equaliser. Earning Leeds a crucial point in their battle for survival at Brentford. They're now 3 points ahead of West Ham United, who fill the 18th spot. After that game, Leeds manager Daniel Farke talked up his strikers' England chances.
Yes, of course, because Thomas rewards performances. I'm far away from giving any recommendation, because Thomas is a top class manager and coach, and he knows exactly what he needs. But as a player, if you deliver with consistency performances, then you have all chances. He was there before, has proven that he can score goals for the 3 lines, and yes, if he shows this with consistency in this league anyhow, then he has also any chances to be back there again.
Well, I like the fact, and it's quite right, that he talks up this player.
Absolutely.
You know, who's in great form
so he should.
At the moment, and we know he can play.
Correct.
But will he be anywhere on Thomas Tuchel's radar?
Not at the moment. He can't be. He absolutely can't be. Listen, you and I spoke about it earlier on the show, Jeff. Delighted for him, thrilled for him. You know, and you're right, the Everton fans must be scratching their heads. But the bottom line is Dominic Calvert-Lewin, you know, deserves a break, I think. Because he's had a horrendous time injury, and you just want him to see him fit, playing. He's doing that now, and you know, really importantly, he's chipping in with goals, which is great, and they're beneficial to Leeds. But he's got some way to go before he comes into conversation with Watkins and boys like that, Wilson and guys like that. No.
Now, the World Darts Championship is in full swing at the Ali Pali. Most of the eyes, of course, on the likes of Luke Littler and Richie Humphries, Michael van Gerwen. Plenty of other stories worth looking out for as well. None better than the story of Paul Limmer. Must be sick of hearing this. He's 71 now. He has become the oldest player to win a match at the championship at the Ali Pali with his victory over the weekend. And I'm delighted to say that Paul joins us now. Morning, Paul.
Good morning, Paul.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Hey, it's great to talk to you, Paul. I mean, how did that win feel? It was Jeffrey de Graaf, wasn't it?
Yes, it is actually. In fact, like I said again, he's definitely the favorite against me. And I watched him play. I mean, we are actually from the same stable target, you know. And I've been watching a lot of players' chairmanship, and I'm watching play. And I know, hey, you know something. I mean, to me, you know, you just got to go up there and play your best you could, you know. And it turned out the way it is. I'm really, you know, over the moon about it. You know, so.
And so you should be, Paul. It's magnificent, because I was looking at it. I think the previous record was Northern Ireland's John McGowan, who was a very, very young 67, and he was the last one to win a game, and you're now 71. But the point I want to try to make, now we have been really bigging up darts, and it's been fantastic. The youth coming through, Luke Littler to name one, but a few. But this just shows perfectly how, you know, you can still play, and it is effectively a game for all ages.
Yeah, I think this is one of the sports there, right? That I've always said, you know, from what I've been going through, and I said it's a matter of the longevity is unreal, you know, in that. It's a matter of how committed you are, you know, and how much you want it, you know. Like I said again, the time is endless in darts anyway. So you know, I actually kind of have always tell the players out there, you know, like I said, you just play and enjoy it, and see what you know what you want to do. If you want to pursue into it, there is a great longevity, but. You know, if the interest dies, you know, I think I'm able to last that long is because of my passion. I just love this game, you know. So,
well, look, Paul, you first played the PDC World Championships back in 1996 when it was the glorious Circus Tavern. I remember it only too well because I was presenting it. So over the years, you've seen them all. You've seen the Eric Bristows, the Dennis Priestleys, the Johnny Lows, the Phil Taylors, and the current crop. Who's the best?
Oh, I mean, honestly, in terms of showmanship, I think it's Eric. There's no doubt about that. He's a great showman. Okay, he's not just a great champion, but a great showman. Well, when it comes to someone that I really look up to and respect, it got to be Phil Taylor. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, he was able to maintain for so long. I really don't think anyone could actually break their record. But now, come and look later, I don't know. I changed my mind now.
Paul, tell me, can you believe? I mean, you've obviously, it's been wonderful, your longevity in the game, but can you actually believe where darts is at this moment in time? I mean, has there been a better marketed sport on the planet than darts? I mean, and for example, my family, we sit on the couch now over the Christmas period, the New Year period, and we just love our darts.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, really, honestly, you know, there are so many people that actually kind of doesn't understand by watching darts, right? You know, like I said, there could be so much excitement, especially when the standard of play now is totally different now. I mean, the caliber is just really high up there, and it's exciting. But you got to love the game anyway. I mean, a lot of people might not think darts is the greatest sports in the world, but to me, I mean, if you love darts, you're just a dart person. That's it.
No, look, I mean, it's a brilliant spectator sport. Everybody has a great time. So we're talking about quality players. You've got Luke Humphries next, Paul.
Who is that? Sorry. I'm only joking. All right. If Luke listen to this, don't be angry. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to be upsetting them now, Paul. You don't want to be upsetting them now, mate.
I mean, he's a fantastic player, isn't he?
He is a fantastic player and a fantastic person too. I remembered a few years ago, 2 years ago when I was in my last PDC and we were in the practice room, right? And he was there practicing too. And then we got talking and he was helping me out because I was saying that my fingers start to dry up a bit because because I'm getting older, the skin dries up and the feel is started. And he told me, he says, Paul, use this. The one, I think it's a working hand thing, the cream. It's like a wax thing that so he kind of let me try it and things like that. We got talking. I mean, honestly, so I mean, I really appreciate, even like I said again, we're friends, but we're competitors, but when it comes on the dartboard, we are competitors anyway. But he still helped me, so I really appreciate that.
Could you possibly beat him, Paul?
You know something, if he plays the way he normally plays right now, because I have to face reality. There are times, like I said again, in the PDC Asia Tour, there are matches when I actually play in the best of 9 or best of 7. I hit over 100 average. So it's a matter of the moment. I know my capability when I practice, and I know exactly how good I am. But to be as consistent as look, that's tough. But if I go set for set, and if I can, in the best of 5 legs in a set, and I tell myself, I said, hey, if I can do 100 over average, I have a chance to beat him. Yeah. Or even sometimes if I hit a 98 average, I can still try to have a chance to beat him. So it depends. I mean, I always say that sky's the limit. I mean, you just have to believe that you can do it. And I just want to play a good game. That's all.
Look, Paul, best of luck. Keep flying the flags for the 70-plus-year-olds.
Congratulations, Paul. Keep it going, mate.
Hey, thank you very much for having me on the show. Okay, thank you.
Pleasure, Paul. Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I call Luke Humphries Richie Humphries there because
he did not.
I did. The Hartlepool legend, Sheffield Wednesday, a lot of us, but Hartlepool legend.
Well,
Richie
I've told you the story. I call Tim Vickery Phil Vickery. I mean, literally every time he comes on, and he's such a gentleman now. He just takes it. He doesn't even correct me anymore.
Tomorrow's my last show before Christmas.
Oh, lucky you!
Fantastic.
Well, I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. But Coisty, you want to have the last word, I think, do you?
I do. If it's okay, I think it's only fair in a morning like this morning that we tip our hat to Stevie Robinson and the St Mirren boys and everybody in Paisley for a fantastic result, fantastic achievement. I know they had a wonderful night last night, and it'll go on probably for days and days, but it's only fair. I don't have a last word. I think it's only fair Charlie Mulgrew has the last word.
I sit here and I think, oh no.